Summer Game Fest season has officially started with a PlayStation State of Play, and there was good, there was bad, and there were some things that surprised me. So very quickly, I wanted to take the 14 games and announcements and put them either under the heading of if it was good, if it was bad, or if I found it surprising. Now, I did a predictions and expectations stream yesterday. I actually managed to get 7 out of the 14 game appearances. Now, a lot of the things that I couldn't have possibly guessed were some of the third-party appearances that I think were pretty good, and the State of Play leaks turned out to be accurate. I was kind of dismissing the State of Play leaks, mainly because we get showcase leaks all the time, and they're almost never accurate, they're almost never correct. They turned out to be correct. I think this is related to YouTube is currently looking into employees that have been leaking info, because once a video like that's uploaded and scheduled to premiere, it can be viewed on the back end. So for, 24 hours or so, maybe even 36, I think it was about 24 hours, you could have viewed that video on the back end if you had access. I would still be leery, though, of showcase leaks, okay? Live events that are upcoming are different. A State of Play was an uploaded premiere, so I still think showcase leaks are likely to be completely made up, all right? Now, if you like this kind of content and you like live shows, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Usually what I do is I upload a monologue like this, but I couldn't do this for this. I was up last night with you guys watching this, and then I had to get ready because the kiddos were coming home and, needing to go to bed. I usually am done by that point and have already recorded my video, all right? So, up first, let's talk about the good things, because I do think there are good things in the State of Play. I think everybody always approaches these State of Plays and they're like, oh, that was lame. And it's like, I don't expect State of Plays to be showcases. I do want to say, before I get into the good, the bad, and the surprising, I still think PlayStation missed the mark and should have said, we look forward to saying more later this year at our showcase. I think it's totally fair for people to say, hey, why aren't you doing a showcase? You did a showcase last year in May. We're kicking off Summer Game Fest, kind of a soft kickoff to Summer Game Fest season, and you decided to do a State of Play instead. And I think that's fine. The previous year they did a State of Play prior to that, right? In 2022, they did a State of Play to kind of soft kick off Summer Game Fest. But last year, they did a showcase. So I think it would have been a good look to say, we can't wait to share more later this year at our showcase. I actually think this State of Play has some hints in it when that showcase will be. All right, so we got 3 categories. We got good, we've got bad, we've got surprising. And the first game that I'm going to put in the good category, all right, but I'm also going to claim that this one is a little not good, is the Concord cinematic trailer, all right, as well as the gameplay, okay? I am going to mention this in the bad section as well, all right? I am going to mention that because I do think this game kind of falls into both categories, and there's a lot of different opinions right now floating around about this game called Concord, all right? I actually think the characters had personality. I thought the voice acting was good. I thought the gameplay had a crisp and a very tight feel to it. It really felt like Destiny meets Overwatch, which isn't surprising. 3 of the people that were in this reveal are former Bungie devs. It was, I believe, Josh Hamrick, Jerome, and then John Wisniewski. Those guys are all from Bungie, okay? I'm going to be honest. I don't play games like this, but this does look fun. It does. It looks like it could be a fun romp. I am going to say a little bit more about this when I get to the bad section because, yeah, I said a lot last night that I'm going to kind of repeat again today about where I see this game. But there are just certain elements, I think, that do look fun, and you do see the influence of both Destiny as well as Overwatch in a game like this. So, the second game that I thought looked good, and I thought this one was worthy of mention, is the Ballad of Antera. Now, I had not heard of this game prior to this event, okay? Prior to this event, I had not heard about this game. I didn't know what it was, but I thought the tone, I thought the art style, and I thought the combat all looked very good. Now, it is described as an action RPG. It is single player, but it will offer up to 3-player multiplayer. Now, they did indicate they have post-launch plans. They are going to be adding what they call emissaries, zones. They'll be adding story, as well as other content. They said they would be adding emissary, zone, story, and more. The only concern I have about this game is that it will be free to play, okay? This game is coming from Tipsworks Studio, and they are located in Shanghai, China. And Chinese mobile games are notorious for bad microtransactions. That doesn't mean that a Chinese developer is automatically going to do bad microtransactions, but like culturally, it seems like the Chinese culture within gaming has been more receptive to very bad microtransactions, okay? The only other game I could see coming from this developer, they made Pascal's Wager, which is a terrible game, and it was so bad when I played it on my stream, it became like a meme in our community, okay? So I thought it looked good, I thought the art style looked good, gameplay looked good, but I am going to be keeping an eye on this game, because I don't know if again, being free to play, it's like, wait, a giant, looking like a giant open world action RPG, why in the world is it free to play? Microtransactions could be a problem, all right? Now, the next two good things, obviously, are very subjective. I don't have the trailers for you, but I like seeing VR games, and I thought the two VR games looked good. Behemoth looked fun. It features large scope scale areas. I thought the VR combat looked solid. And then Alien Rogue Incursion, I think that's just a perfect fit for a VR experience. I will say some of the alien animations looked a bit off, or like a bit like jerky. I think that's just kind of maybe sometimes how they have to animate them, because they're kind of fast and kind of weird. But a scary VR game with aliens, I think, is just going to be a good time. Looking forward to that one. Now, the next good thing, it isn't really something I would play, but for console fans, if you've been waiting for Marvel Rivals, it's coming, all right? Now, I continue to say that Rivals really has a shot. I do think the poor state of Overwatch, how upset that community is, this is quite literally Marvel's version of Overwatch, all right? I think they're going to throw a lot of money at this, okay? And I honestly think it is a perfect fit for Overwatch fans. You're even having destructible environments, as well as these team-up things that you can do, is a really, really cool twist on the hero shooter. So I think I'm going to revisit. I'm going to mention Rivals again when I talk about Concord, okay? Because I think it's going to, oh man, they're in danger. I'm just going to say it, all right? I think they're in danger. But yeah, Marvel Rivals, I think, just looks like a great time for fans of those types of games. And the Overwatch community is certainly like, hey, we need something to play, all right? Now, I will say this, that another good thing that is coming is a remake, and I don't think everybody agrees on this one, but that's okay, the Until Dawn remake. I enjoyed playing through the first game with my wife. We did a member stream. We like to play those kind of scary games with you guys. I think the remake looks great. I don't think there's anything to get insanely hyped over, but I just think a solid-looking remake of a game that some people consider to be sort of like a classic, I think that's good. I think it's cool. I mean, we've seen it before, so it certainly wasn't bad, all right? Now, the next thing that got me really excited, but then I was bummed to see that I won't be able to play it until later this year in early access, was Path of Exile 2. I just think this game looks phenomenal. I loved Diablo up until 4. 4 really bored me, but it has couch co-op, it has cross-play, it has cross-progression, and it really looks like it has great action, like moment-to-moment, you know, top-down ARPG. And everything they've said about this game is that they are, from everything I've heard from people that have been following it, they're really trying to make it more approachable. Path of Exile 1 is sort of notoriously known for its very, very elaborate skill trees and spreadsheets to try to come up with an amazing build. And it looks like Path of Exile 2 is going to be a lot more approachable. So, since Diablo 4, my wife and I have been dying for a good couch co-op game. We had a lot of fun with Gunfire Reborn. It's kind of like a Borderlands Rogue style game. But after about 30 hours, we're kind of looking for something new. And so I thought the Path of Exile 2 trailer was pretty exciting. I thought it looked good. Now, another good thing from the State of Play was Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, I've never been a huge Monster Hunter fan, even though I see why people like these games, okay? I tried one out, and I remember I could see the depth, I could see the quality. It just didn't appeal to me. The combat really kind of bored me. And I know people that like Mon Hunt are like, how could you possibly say that? It just doesn't appeal to me. No shade. These are very successful games. Everybody loves them. And I see why they do. I have this weird feeling of jealousy about Mon Hunt games. Like, I wish I could enjoy them as much as Mon Hunt fans enjoy them, okay? I thought the game looked good. I thought the enemy animations looked unique. There was some kind of stop motion effect on the animations of the enemies. I wasn't sure if it was because were they running at a different frame rate than the rest of the game or something. It looked cool, but I couldn't quite figure out what was going on with the enemy animations. That game's slated for 2025, so still a ways out, but I thought it was a good showing at the event. And people love Monhun, okay? Now, the last good thing for the State of Play also lands in the bad list, all right? God of War Ragnarok PC is looking really strong. Just like another amazing port, all the things we're seeing, you know, the unlocked frames and all the various PC features that people love, like ultra-wide support. And this trailer, going through all these sequences, scenes, and all these amazing moments, it just really reminded me how incredible God of War Ragnarok is. Just a beautifully built game, great story, just a wonderful cast of characters, incredible voice acting. There is so much about this game that I think commonly we forget, because you get in these silly fights on the internet and everybody talks about PlayStation games like they're these boring movie games. God of War Ragnarok is an absolute triumph, and I'm thrilled to see this game coming to PC. The first one, God of War 2018, they did such a great job with that port. So it's actually landing a little bit sooner than I expected. I kept saying it was going to land holiday. Now, I did say fourth quarter, so I technically was right. I was like, I think it's going to be holiday. I think it's going to be around fourth quarter. It's going to be right when the fourth quarter starts, September 19th. So PlayStation really likes September all of a sudden. We'll talk about that in a minute. But God of War coming to PC is also the perfect catalyst to the bad list, okay? The blog for God of War Ragnarok PC announcement says at the very, very bottom, it says PlayStation Network is required. And I will once again maintain my position on this, especially because this is a single-player game. I just think this is unnecessary. I also think it's confusing. They didn't require a PlayStation account for Ghost of Tsushima if you just wanted to play the campaign, but you need a PSN account if you wanted to play Legends, which is the multiplayer, or if you wanted the PSN overlay or the trophies, okay? So I think you're just confusing people now. It's like, why didn't you require it for the single player in Ghost of Tsushima? And, oh, by the way, God of War Ragnarok doesn't have any multiplayer. So requiring it for God of War Ragnarok to me is something I cannot get behind. I'm not going to support it. I know the ponies and the big-time PlayStation fans love to thumb their nose at the PC guys. Some of the guys on the PC side genuinely ask for it. They're unpleasant and silly. But I don't get behind this, all right? I know it's easy. Yes, I know. I know it's not hard to make an account. I'm not saying I agree with the people who are like, I refuse to make an account. I just don't think it's a decision worth making. The Steam audience clearly doesn't like this. Why do this on a single-player game? I think this points to PlayStation wanting to make their own launcher, but that's a debate for another day, all right? Now, the next thing that I thought looked bad at this event is Silent Hill 2, and there is a lot of disagreement about this one. I saw John Linneman from Digital Foundry say that he thinks it looks great. I think it looks bad. I think there are times where it looks good. Every time they've shown this, though, I feel like it looks worse and worse. It's almost like it's going back in time. Like the very first time we saw it, it looked unbelievable. And now every time I see it, I'm like, is that an old game? Like, what's going on? Now, there are some gameplay sequences that I do think look pretty good, okay? But overall, I just don't think it looks consistent. In the realm of remakes, okay? If you're going to remake a game from 2001... I think it should look a whole lot better than what I'm seeing, okay? It's been over 20 years, and it just doesn't seem like they've hit the right level. But again, there are times where it looks good. Like when he's outdoors here, the reflection on that glass that he hit, the use of fog, the ground. This all looks great. And then other times, I think it looks terrible. It's very inconsistent. It's very much like that episode of Seinfeld, bad lighting on the porch. It's like sometimes it looks good. Other times I'm like, what is going on? Why does it look like that? There are some really bad screenshots floating around, and those aren't doctored. That's just what it looks like. So I think that doing that, with this game is exciting, but I don't think it looks all that consistent. Maybe it's because we're seeing different builds, and maybe it's going to look better once it finally lands, okay? It's possible we're just seeing elements that lack polish or things that are older or something like that. We'll have to see, but I couldn't say it looked good. And this trailer here that I'm watching, this is a longer trailer that is now on the PlayStation channel. The thing that we saw was, I think, even shorter than this. It was very short, and it had some sequences in it that I just thought looked pretty terrible. Now, this game is launching October the 8th, so it is right around the corner, okay? We'll see if You know, I love playing games like this. So, and I think the atmosphere is great. I think it seems really, really creepy, but it just has some weird shots in it that just don't look all that great. Anyways, the next bad thing in the state of play is when they did the Where Winds Meet trailer, okay? I don't think taking up time for a cinematic trailer that just says, hey, we're building our game for PlayStation 5, that just feels like an absolute waste of time. I also don't think Where Winds Meet looks very good. I've seen the gameplay. You can see the gameplay. You can go look it up if you want. It sort of looks like an old-gen game. It looks very dated. I think the game looks fun, okay? It does. I don't know if it's worth hitching your event to, right? Now, maybe they leverage next-gen features in the PlayStation 5, and when the game Where Winds Meet comes out on PlayStation 5, maybe it looks significantly better than it does right now, okay? So, I don't think it's a bad game. It just doesn't seem like it fit for a state of play. Like, hey, we're making our game for PlayStation 5. Okay, there's tons of gameplay right now. Why didn't you show us any? I would say that they didn't show any because it doesn't look that good. Maybe that's going to change when they bring it to PS5. Now, the next two things are not bad, but I didn't want to leave them out. I wanted to include everything in the showcase. I just didn't care about these things. Infinity Nikki and Dynasty Warriors. They just don't interest me. I'm kind of neutral on these. I don't want to say it's good or bad. It's good to have variety. And there are people that like these types of games, right? The very cutesy waifu games, and then there's the Dynasty Warrior games. I feel like people are always like, "Oh, I love those games." I just don't have any interest in fighting 85 people at once. It's just not my jam, right? So those two just kind of fell into a neutral category. Okay, I think it's easy to make the mistake that if something looks a little weird or it doesn't appeal to you, then it's automatically bad game, right? I don't want to do that with those two games. So let's talk about the two surprises in this state of play. And the big surprise, the game that stole the show, is undeniably Astro Bot. Okay, this is going to be a proper full game, and it looks like an absolute blast. It has 70 new types of enemies, 70 new types of enemies, 15 new abilities, and 80 levels, and a bunch of massive bosses. The boss fights really sort of remind me of stuff like from Mario Galaxy, where you're jumping around, it's kind of platformer, and you've got this gigantic boss in front of you. There's elements in here that really remind me of the Mario Galaxy games, as well as some of the levels in like Sackboy, Adventures of Sackboy. The more I have watched this trailer, the more I like this game. It just looks like a fantastic time. I showed this to my kids. They were stoked. They thought it looked great. I think this hits a lot of different age groups. That is something I want to talk about. I think gamers really sort of talk out of both sides of their mouth a lot of the times. People are like, oh, PlayStation gets ridiculed consistently for all they do is third-person narrative-driven movie games, okay? And then they do something like this that's fun, and it looks like it would appeal to gamers of all types and ages, and people are kind of making fun of it or mocking it. I think this game's a contender. Like, I really do. This game's a contender. It's going to get a lot of love. I think it's going to get a lot of praise, all right? I've seen a lot of fans saying they want more variety from PlayStation. They want more games like Jak and Daxter, more old-school style games. Well, Astro Bot seems to be checking all of those boxes, all right? Now, it's hard to ignore the timing of when Astro Bot lands. The game is also full of Easter eggs, by the way. That's why I put Kratos. I put Kratos on the thumbnail. By the way, that's going to be a little bit of a blip for those of you that are in the live audience. We just switched ingest servers. If your audio messes up, just refresh. I don't know why. YouTube has been doing that a lot lately, and I don't know why. It's kind of frustrating. So, tons of Easter eggs in Astro Bot, and it's coming September 6th. Now, I don't think if they do this, like if I'm correct, and this is like a bundled game with the PlayStation 5 Pro, okay, that doesn't mean that you couldn't play it on the PlayStation 5. I see them selling Astro Bot for like $50, and then they're just going to throw it in. It's going to come bundled free with all PlayStation 5 Pros. That's kind of what I think is going to happen, all right? I think it's a great looking game. I think it's perfect for all gamers. I think it's going to get a ton of praise. I think it's going to be a hit. I really do. Now, the last thing that was surprising in the PlayStation State of Play was the fact that Concord is a hero shooter, all right? Now, I have a planned video about this. I'm going to put a lot of thought into this because Marathon, the game coming from Bungie, that was also reported to have shifted and changed to a hero shooter. And Marvel Rivals is headed to console. And the real big dilemma for Concord is the beta of Marvel Rivals lands in the same month as Concord's beta. This could be another one of those. You remember when Overwatch beta basically murdered Battleborn? Do you remember when that happened? This could be one of those situations, okay? Again, I think this is a surprise. I'm kind of surprised that we have another company, I think, sort of chasing a trend. I think hero shooters and extraction shooters, I think companies should stop chasing these trends. I really do. I just think it's going to become oversaturated. I think you're all going to step on each other. I think you're going to get in each other's way, all right? So, there you have it. The good, the bad, and the surprising. So, now you know what I think. Now it's time to hear what you think. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And welcome on in. You guys are the absolute best. Eugene says Marvel Rivals isn't an issue at all. I think you're wrong. I don't know how a super popular hero shooter launching its beta in the exact same month as your brand new hero shooter and its beta. I think that's 100% going to pose a problem. I do. I don't know if Concord will be successful, but Marvel Rivals will have minimal impact. How? They're both hero shooters. That's a genre that certain people find really appealing. I don't know, man. Like I said yesterday, I think Concord is a massive risk. That's going to be our video for Monday. And I think Rivals is going to step right on their toes. That's the exact same audience, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, if you love COD and you love Battle Royales, then Rivals isn't a shooter. I mean, I'll give you that, but it kind of is. I mean, a lot of the abilities are shooting abilities. You know what I mean? Like, I'm literally looking at turrets, by the way, shooting at Storm. Like, I know this is more abilities based, but a lot of the abilities I saw in this trailer, look at her, she's shooting. Ping, ping, ping. Obviously, it's third person. Like, look at that. That's you know, there aren't, and this guy's got a gun. This guy right here's got a gun. I mean, a lot of the attacks in Rivals are, you might as well be shooting. You know, like Overwatch is the same idea. And this here we go. Star-Lord's got guns. I don't know, man. I think it's a potential problem. I really do. I don't want to cannibalize Monday. I don't want to focus purely on that. Stonespire kicked the day off. Han shot first, and so did you with the 5-bomb, and then Risic with the single, and Joker Quinn with the single takes us to 7. I believe you guys have achieved the stretch goal. I don't know if you guys want to do another stretch goal, but you've achieved the stretch goal with that first 5 from Stonespire, and Joker Quinn hits 12 months as a VIP, says trophy unlocked 1 year. Thank you so much, Joker Quinn, so consistently gifting members to the channel. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we hit 264 yesterday, 176 and 30. Yeah, we had 595 members going into today. So with Stonespire's 5-bomb, you guys did it. You got the stretch goal. I'll be wearing a onesie tonight when I play. I'm not going to put it on until we play Foam Stars. I'm not going to wear it the entire evening. So don't show up at 8:30 and be like, why aren't you wearing it? Like, we're going to play Foam Stars at the end of the stream with Creature. I'll put on the onesie. You guys unlocked it. Good job. Metabeast, I agree. If Concord feels good and not mushy, PC players will love and hero shooters in general. I mean, listen. Like, yeah, we're going to cannibalize Monday. I've sketched that out as Monday's show. I had to mention it in today's rundown of the state of play, but I don't want to cannibalize Monday. Monday, I primarily want to focus on Concord. The other things I talked about that were bad from the event was requiring a login on God of War Ragnarok on PC. I think is incredibly stupid. You know, the other thing, I think Silent Hill 2 just looks, it's all over the place. I don't get what's going on with that game. Because as I was watching that trailer, I was like, oh, this looks really good again. But what they showed last night looked terrible. You know what I mean? Yo, a single from DK Bager. Thank you so much. I'm confused on your takeaway where wins meet. I thought the action combat they showed off in the gameplay looked more than competent. The art style looks cool. They didn't show any gameplay. What are you talking about? They didn't show any gameplay, Kirk. You feel lost? Why do you feel lost? Where was the gameplay in the Where Winds Meet trailer? It was a cinematic trailer. Where Winds Meet announced trailer. I mean, I'll throw it up here. Did I miss something? Because I've seen gameplay of this. I've seen gameplay of this on YouTube, and it does not look very good. Not last night, but before. I don't know if any of this is gameplay. This all just looks like in-engine cinematics. No, I did not watch the follow-up transmission thing with Silent Hill. I did not. Oh, okay. No, yeah, you're right. I forgot about this. There is gameplay here. Yeah, but see, the scary thing here is it's all, like, that was it, and it was dark. If you go look at gameplay right now of this game, yeah, I mean, that right there, if this is real gameplay and they're not playing around, then awesome. This looks way better than everything on YouTube right now. It does. I forgot that there was actually gameplay in this trailer. I was like, you basically just announced you're making the game for PlayStation 5, and all of the gameplay on YouTube does not look very good. It just doesn't. And a lot of these are sliced up. A lot of these are quick looks. It always makes me very, very leery of a game. It's like, okay, I think it looks awesome, but all the gameplay I've seen up to now does not look like this. None of the gameplay on YouTube looks anything like this. So maybe they're tapping into PlayStation 5 and they're going to add a bunch of the great next-gen lighting and textures and stuff. It's a huge open world game. It's a dope game. Yeah, I mean, and I said that in my show open. I said, look, I think it looks fun. I just think graphically, I don't think it looks good at all from everything I've seen up to now. The YouTube gameplay is a beta. Maybe they have everything turned off then, because this looks like a completely different game to me. It just makes me really suspicious. I don't like the all available gameplay looks bad. Here's a bunch of quick shots that look really, really good. It's like, okay, I hope you can pull it off, because, I don't know. That one landed bad with me. It landed bad with me. It's like, oh, it's in development for PS5. Okay, that could be 2 years away if it's in development for PS5. You know what I mean? Why do you think Astro will be 50 if it's a full fat game? Perception. I think it's a perception thing. Hang on, I missed something. Yo, Brian31 gifts 5 members and takes us to 12 members on the day. You guys are going to have to come up with something. If you guys do another 100 members today, you'll have to come up with something that I have to do tonight. You'll have to think of something, whatever you got. Mark with a $5 Super Chat tip. No mention of Astro VR2 support is a shame. Astro on VR1 is highly respected in the VR community. A lot of VR2 owners feel that they got a gut punch. They could always do it later like they've done with Gran Turismo. I don't know. As a third-party state of play, I think it was very good. A solid 8. I don't understand. Why are you calling it a third-party? Concord's not third-party. Ballad of Ventura. I don't know if Ballad of Ventura is exclusive or not. But then God of War on PC. I mean, yeah, I guess a lot of the companies aren't them. Astro. So Astro, Concord, and God of War, 3 out of the 14. It was mostly non-first party. I keep thinking of the word exclusive, and to me, I know a lot of these games are exclusive. So I just don't fixate on first party versus third party. So you said third party, and my mind went to exclusives, and I was like, there was a lot of exclusives at the event. When I saw Astro, I immediately thought Pro. Yeah, PS5 Pro. I had to play Sven or Maze. What's your take on how light the VR showing was? I think 2 VR games out of 14 is fine, Mash. You've got to be really, really careful with VR. I think you do. You've got to be really careful with VR. If you only are going to show 14 games and you show 3 or 4 VR, you're going to tick people off. you don't want to eat up like, 1/4 or 1/5 or, whatever it turns out to be. You don't want to eat up a portion of the showcase of an event like that, I'm sorry, with VR. I think they've always got to be really careful. And the VR section was really fast. Like, Behemoth was somewhat lengthy, but the Alien game trailer was super short. Super short. Let's go, new Dynasty Warriors. Love those games. Yeah, I put Dynasty Warriors into the neutral category. It wasn't good or bad for me. I was just like, I don't really like those games, But I didn't want to put it in the bad category because it doesn't look like a bad game. It looks like a perfectly fine game. I just don't enjoy them. Aliens VR game makes me wish I could play VR without getting sick. Yeah, like that'll be a really fun, scary game for us to do on a Friday night. We'll set an incentive, and if you guys hit the goals and all that, Madam can mess with me while I'm streaming. I think that could be really, really fun. We've been trying to find more and more scary games like that, so that one will be perfect. Like a VR game with aliens running around, I think could be really, really fun. I can't believe Alien VR is coming this year. Assumed it was next year. It is interesting that they said this year, Eugene, and they had like nothing to show. It's like we're halfway through the year. Maybe they're going to show more at Summer Game Fest. Does PlayStation have some kind of contract with the devs of Path of Exile? I'm only seeing it on PlayStation, or at least early access was surprising to me to know if they... I don't have any more information. No. I mean, if I had to guess, Vaughn, it's because they want to do splits. They want to do couch co-op, and I guarantee you couldn't get Path of Exile 2 couch co-op to work on the Xbox Series S. If Path of Exile 2... takes longer to come to Xbox, that won't surprise me in the least. It won't, because of the couch co-op. They made it a part of the dadgum trailer. It was like couch co-op, cross-play, cross-progression. Like, that's kind of a big deal for games like that. Now somebody's probably going to say, well, Diablo 4 got couch co-op to work. Okay, maybe. Baldur's Gate ran into problems with it. And a lot of games have run into problems with trying to do any kind of split screen co-op. Certain things have literally, like Halo Infinite stopped doing it. They were going to do it and they stopped. Almost assuredly, that's because of the Series S. Bushin Ryu Cat with a $20 super chat tip. Thank you so much. Lono, I rate the state of play 7 out of 10. My opinions are Concord will get our demographic, while Rivals will get the snotty kids sucking on Disney. Concord will get a name change. What? Don't overlook Monhun Wilds. Lono, I want you to firewalk with me. I'm not a Monhun guy. I'm not. I don't think Concord needs a name change, by the way. I think Concord's fine. Yeah, I think Marvel, I'm telling you, you guys, everybody's going to be making fun of it and calling it like Marvel's Overwatch or whatever. I'm telling you, Marvel Rivals has a shot because Overwatch, that community is hungry for a game, and Marvel is going to throw their full weight behind that, I think. There is money to be made in that genre. There is. So, Concord looks good, but I feel like it's a genre that's going to tank it. Same opinion of the Souls-likes, too. Astro's a day one buy, though. Yeah, Astro looked incredible. It stole the show for me. The more I watch that trailer, the more excited I get. I'm like, this is just the exact kind of game that I love. I wish it had co-op, but I understand why in games like that you can't really do that. Like, you've got these big, awesome boss fights that usually, center around one person. Yo, what's good, Shelly? I'm not seeing anyone talk about how Concord is going to have weekly narrative cutscenes. That seems very ambitious and expensive. Bushin Ryu Cat with a $5, with a 5 bomb of members takes us to 17. You guys are crushing it this week. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't want to cannibalize Monday because on Monday, I'm going to be talking about Concord, and then we're going to be talking with Kirk about Silent Hill. So I don't want to cannibalize that. I think they're trying to do what Overwatch did, though. Overwatch gained a lot of popularity because they had all those mini movies and things that made people really like the characters. So, I'm with you, though. I remember when they said that, I was like, how the frick are you going to do that? Like, that seems crazy. So we got 52 cutscenes ready to go, Marvel Rivals has a shot with anyone who's a fan of Marvel in general. That's me personally. I don't think that they're going to compete with Overwatch 2, but I do believe it may attract the Overwatch 2 community. I don't think it's going to be hard to attract the Overwatch 2 community. Stone Spire Gifts a member takes us to 18 members on the day. Thank you so much, Stone Spire. Everything about Concord looked great. I haven't said anything to say that it doesn't look good. I'm just like, okay, you're taking a massive risk. And I'm going to make a pretty strong argument for that on Monday. Alapark says, for the God of War Ragnarok PlayStation account stuff, I feel like, and I know what Stone Spire's going to do. He's going to do another one. He's going to single walk us all the way to 20. You're the man, Stone Spire. Stone Spire's begging somebody to drop that 5 bomb to 25. I feel like a lot of the heat is coming because it's so close to Helldivers 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. Helldivers 2 was fully optional until all the changes happened. Ghost of Tsushima you only need it for the multiplayer. God of War Ragnarok did the right thing by wanting day one, warning day one. But it's too close to the other two. Helldivers 2 controversy is still too fresh. It's confusing. Like, listen to me. It's confusing. If you want everybody to make a PlayStation account to play your stinking games, you should have done it a long time ago. You should have done it a long time ago. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Risset gifts a member, takes us to 21. Like, what are you... Okay, so the Helldiver situation's irrelevant. Let's just ignore Helldivers because that was a unique circumstance and they turned it off because of the server issues. And then 3 months later, it was like, hey, we're going to turn this on, and everybody rioted. And Agent of Chaos is Quintar as he takes us to 26 with the 5 bomb. Thank you so much. So let's just ignore Helldivers, all right? Look at all of the PlayStation releases. All the PlayStation releases. Not a single one. And then a single from DK Baker, another 5 from Cat. Takes us to 32. You release all these games, you don't require PSN, and then you release Ghost of Tsushima, and it does incredibly well. Great concurrent numbers. It is now the record holder. Tsushima is now the record holder. Apply the argument to every company. I'm not applying the argument to every company because I don't have to. I'm applying the argument to PlayStation. Did I have to make an Xbox account to play Hellblade 2 in Steam? No. So yeah, let's apply it to the other major player bringing their games to PC and bringing their games to Steam. I didn't have to make an Xbox account to play Hellblade 2. I just paid for it in Steam and I played it. And Ghost of Tsushima is like, you don't need a login for the single player, but you need it for the multiplayer. It makes perfectly good sense to require it for multiplayer games. It makes no sense to require it on single player games. It makes no sense at all. And to be this inconsistent, don't expect me to say, it's fine, other companies do it. It's fine. Other companies do it, it's fine. Since when is that the measure of making something okay? Well, other companies do it. Okay, well, Genshin Impact does stuff. Is it okay if other companies do that too? Like, do we want scummy micros in other games? Well, these companies do it, so it's okay. Requiring people to make an account, a second account, to play a single-player game is one of the most brain-dead things I've ever seen. You know what I can't stand? Is when I turn on my PlayStation and I go to play a game, and they're like, hey, you need an account. I've got an account, and I'm logged in on it. What are you talking about? I don't want an account with you. I want to play this game. Well, you gotta, you create a new account, and put an email address in, and then... If you're impatient, you're going to probably pick a password instead of what I do, which is I use encrypted passwords. But then I'm going to pick a password, which now that makes my data more prone to getting hacked and stolen because I've got one more data point out there in the world attached to me because I just want to play a stupid game and I put my email address in right when I boot up the game and I got to make an account. It's dumb. It will always be dumb. If it's not a multiplayer game, I have no reason to make an account with you. Leave me the frick alone. If I buy your game from PlayStation, leave me alone. You don't need my information. You don't. You don't. Like level of encryption, Zubair. Yes, you generate an encrypted password. Yes. But you still do it? Yes, I still do it. And it's irritating and stupid and unnecessary. So the frick what? I do plenty of things that I don't think I should have to do. That doesn't mean that I'm like, oh, it's fine. I got to thank some super chats. Hang on a second. Wire Road with a $5 super chat tip says Sony is going to make a launcher that logs you in when you open it. I don't disagree with you. They're going to make their own launcher. I think that's what they're doing. Street Shadow says State of Play was solid, but I set my expectations correctly. I saw others upset because they didn't show the game they wanted. The Concord negativity feels about how people commented on Helldivers 2 before the previews. It feels different. I feel like people were looking forward to Helldivers 2. Okay. Yeah, listen, I know, here's the thing. I understand why PlayStation's doing it. My ability to intellectually understand why PlayStation's doing it doesn't make me okay with it. I don't care what you're trying to do as a company. Well, the data is valuable to us, and we want to add some really great features. You can frick off. I don't care. Why do I care about that? Why do I care about that? Ubisoft does the same thing. You want to log in with your Ubisoft account, and we got Uplay, and we track your progress, and you can spend your Uplay points in the Uplay store, and you make sure and stop by Uplay. Shut the frick up and let me play your game. I don't want to have to log into your thing. I don't care what your business interests are. Like, well, we want the data, and it'll really help us, and there's these things we want to do. I don't work for you, and I don't care what your business interests are. I bought a video game and I want to play it. That's it. I think requiring me to make an account to play a single player game and for people to say other companies do it, I don't care about that. Are we going to hand wave every decision as long as another company does it? I don't like doing it. Regardless of who does it. I don't care if it's Ubisoft. I don't care if it's Call of Duty's multiplayer. So again, that makes sense. You want to have some way of handling cheat enforcement and things like that. And also, if you're trying to play multiplayer with a PlayStation game, you're using their you're using their social platform to do it. My issue is your argument. Just because they didn't do it before is not a good argument for why they can't do it now. That wasn't my argument, so I'm glad you just pointed out a bad argument that I didn't make. I said it's confusing. It's confusing to the consumer, which is just going to make people more angry. They're going to say, wait a minute, PlayStation, I'm a fan of your games. I bought God of War 2018. I bought Ghost of Tsushima, and you didn't make me log in. Why are you making me log in now? I didn't say they can't do it because they haven't done it up to now. I'm saying it's confusing. Why do something to upset the consumer and potentially drive people away? You're driving people away from becoming a purchaser of your game because you want their data? Like, why is that more important than just selling the game to people? Like, I thought the smart move was the overlay. Hey, we've got an overlay. We're going to track your trophies. So you're going to have an account with us. It's going to track all your progress. So if you ever come over to the PlayStation platform, you've already got an account. You've already got trophies. I think that is a winsome way to get somebody to do something. It's incentivizing it. It's like, hey, here you go. Here's a great way for you to have your stuff tracked. And if you ever end up on the PlayStation ecosystem, you've got all your stuff. But basically saying, no, you have to. I freaking hate that. I don't care who does it. It doesn't matter who does it. I just want to play your game. I don't want to give you my data. 177 countries that could buy God of War 2018 on PC, and now they can't buy the sequel. It's not good for the consumer. Paul, it's rare that we agree, and I agree with you. That's got to be, it's so freaking brain dead. It's like, yeah, let's sell God of War 2018, and it does really well. It breaks a bunch of records. It's one of our best games. And here's the sequel. Sorry, 177 countries who can't get a PSN, you can't buy the game. Oh, but if they go to the website and they just pick another region, they can get around it. They can't buy it now. And I know you're going to say, well, that's the Helldivers 2 community's fault. This was going to happen no matter what. You understand that, right? If you think that this is some kind of like punitive fight with the Steam community, that like PlayStation's like, oh yeah, you guys want to get really upset about Helldivers 2? Well, we're going to do it with Ragnarok. That's got to be one of the most juvenile, ignorant views of this I've ever seen. PlayStation was going to do this no matter what. It's stupid regardless of how you look at it. You're coming to a market of people who have shown a strong aversion to doing that, and you got them to buy your games previously and didn't require it. And now you're requiring it. Why? Well, we want the data, and there's these cool features we want to offer. Who cares? If you want to do that and you want to motivate people, hey, if you sign up, we'll give you something in game, or if you sign up and link it up, we'll do this cool thing for you. Incentivize it so people can opt in if they want. Instead of making it a requirement, and now you can't even sell the game to all the countries who bought your first game. It's just stupid. I can't see it any other way. Mint Street with 33 months. I knew the state of play wasn't going to show much, but the longer they go without pointing to what their first-party studios are doing, they're creating expectations they might not be able to meet. I think that you're speaking from a perspective that is not the majority of the consumer base. I don't think the majority of the consumer base has a clue what first-party is. And Garrett Green with 20 months. I missed a super chat and a resub. I've missed a couple of things. Hang on. Severin Evans with 4 months of membership says God of War Ragnarok sabotaged itself with requiring PSN for a single-player game. They want PC to bolster their numbers. It's obvious to us all now. And then Supremacy with a $5 super chat. Sip says, I have mixed feelings about Concord, but if the gameplay is snappy and the gameplay loop is borderline fun and addictive, then it will have a chance to succeed. And then Garrett Green with 20 months as a member says, PC people are entitled. Sony was not obligated to put any games on PC. All they ask is to make the PSN. Don't want to, you don't get to play great games. Yeah, that's a wonderful attitude to have when you're trying to sell something. That's a wonderful attitude to have. You don't like it, you don't buy our stuff. What the heck? Oh, by the way, it's not a matter of if you don't like it, don't buy our stuff. It's a matter of, hey, all you people that bought the first God of War on PC, God of War 2018, you can't buy it now because we're requiring PSN and Steam won't sell it in your region when we do that. Come on. Stop defending PlayStation. Why do you care? Why? Tell me now. Everybody that's okay with this, everybody that is defending this, what's it do for you? Do it. Argue from the perspective of the consumer because that's what you are. You're not a PlayStation executive. You're not a PlayStation data analyst. You're a consumer. Why do you care that PlayStation does this? Why are you okay with it? Why do you defend it? What does it do for you as the consumer? What? Does it benefit you? You don't care? Then why defend it? Why defend it? It's a decision that limits who can play the game and who can buy the game. Why would you defend that? The only time I take up for the company doing well or the company's interests is when it also benefits me. I want a company to make tons of money. Why? That benefits me. They're going to keep making this game. I want Ghost of Tsushima 2 to sell like gangbusters and to get awards. Why? That ensures Sucker Punch probably makes another one. The only time I ever come from the angle of analyzing revenue reports, sales reports, business interests is when it benefits me. I don't give a rip if PlayStation's like, we want data, we want features, we want to do a launcher. That's fine. You can want that. I think your decision's dumb. I don't think it's good. You're preventing people from buying your game who bought the first one. I think that's a stupid decision. It doesn't benefit me that you're making people make a PSN account. That doesn't do anything for me. I don't benefit as a consumer. It doesn't do anything for me. You about to make the ponies mad? I mean, I took this position with Helldivers too, and the PlayStation guys don't agree with me, and that's fine. That's fine. Hang on. I'll get to the super chat in just a second. I mean, I could be compelled. I have somebody saying that, like, this is going to be pivotal in them expanding their ecosystem and getting more people into the PlayStation ecosystem. Okay, I think there are better ways to go about this. So I understand what you're saying. You're saying, hey, this could benefit you. It makes PlayStation more successful in the gaming market. It makes them have a stronger presence. I think there's a better way to go about this. I do. I think there's a better way to get people to make a PSN account. I don't think you make them. Because the minute you make them, you can't sell the game in all regions. That is stupid. It will always be stupid. It will never not be stupid to limit the regions you sell the game in because you want people to log in with an account. I think that is dumb. If you make it opt-in, if you make it optional, guess what? You can sell the game in all regions and you still might get people to opt in and do it. You just got to give them something. We'll give you an in-game cosmetic. You know, we'll give you free something. You just give them something in the game for doing it. All these games coming to PC, they all have pre-order bonuses. They all have awesome shiny edition bonuses. Just use those things to get people to do it. They would do it. And now they're doing it willingly. And now they like you. Oh, that was fun. I made a PSN account and I got this cool stuff. Oh, and when the next game comes, I'll get cool stuff in that game too. That's how you get people to do this. You don't require it and then limit who can buy the game. Why are you defending PC? I'm not defending PC. I'm defending the consumer. PC's not some entity that I'm defending, like some person. Severin Evans with a $10 super chat tip. All the people saying PlayStation isn't obligated to do this or that, we aren't claiming they are, but we aren't obligated to buy it. We are the consumers. They don't owe us, and we don't owe them either. That's exactly right. Bushin Ryu Cat says, just say compare Concord to Suicide Squad and watch. No. That's enough. Stop. People with a long history of experience making like really, really tight arena style PvP are making this game, okay? Rocksteady tripped on themselves, all right? It's not the same. I'm just not on board with saying a company can't do something with their own stuff. You invoked the same thing that Eugene invoked. I have not yet once said they can't do this. I've said there is a better way to do this. There is such a better way to do this. You sold the first God of War to people and didn't require this. And now you're requiring it, which limits the regions it can be sold in, leaves people out from buying the sequel, and is going to tick a bunch of people off. It's not the right approach. I'm arguing for an approach that would still give people the option to do it. It would still give PlayStation more people slowly acclimating into making accounts and seeing themselves as part of the PlayStation ecosystem. Lono is asking, why are you ticking people off when you have other options? That's exactly right. There are other ways to approach this. This is so corporate. This is so brain dead. In the same year that you had the controversy with Helldivers 2 and you only require people to do it in Ghost of Tsushima for the multiplayer, you're going to slap this on one of your biggest titles? Absolute bumble, in my opinion. Stupid decision. I can't defend it. Like, I can't get to a headspace where I defend this. I'm like, no, what are you doing? Hang on. Street Shadow with a $10 super chat tip says, I think you make good points, but I think Sony sees the impact as low because look at Ghost of Tsushima. It was only for the multiplayer, but it was limited. Oh, it limited the regions. Oh, no, yeah, it limited the regions and it sold very well, Street Shadow. Sure. I'm not saying that this is going to make this game sell. Well, I actually do think it will affect the sales a little bit, Street Shadow, because I think a lot of people bought Ghost of Tsushima thinking, this is great, I don't have to make an account. And a 10 bomb comes in from Alex Witter. Thank you so much for taking us to 42 members on the day. Another strong day for the channel. Guys, if you haven't done so yet, smash that like button. If you're enjoying the show, if you're enjoying the debate, make sure you hit subscribe and the bell button as well, so that way you don't miss out on my content. And do it. Smash the like button. It helps more people find this video. And thanks for the strong turnout on a Friday. Don't forget the fun stuff we're going to be doing tonight. Make sure you have everything. Are you happy now, Creature? Alex with the $2 Super Chat tip after he does the 10 bomb gifted members. And Rich Rod with the $5 Super Chat tip says, it's a PlayStation game. If PlayStation wants you ringer a PlayStation account, then that's it. It's not an argument. The consumer chooses their fate. It's not PlayStation's fault. How is it not PlayStation's fault? There's another way of doing this, man. They could have said, hey, we really want people to enjoy the full breadth of our game because we have trophies, we have achievements, and when you make a PSN, you become part of the PlayStation family. And when you do that, you're going to get the excellent edition, the gold edition, the ultimate edition. You're going to get all those cool things. We're going to throw those in. We're going to give you stuff in the game just to do it. I'm saying there's another way to get people to make the accounts. That's all. Why hurt the game? Why limit the regions it can be sold in? Drew SSJ Havoc with a $10 Super Chat tip. I guess I'm a jerk or something, but I already have a PSN account and I want trophies. If I can get Steam achievements and trophies better for me, it doesn't seem that big of a deal. You have to understand that when I approach this argument, everybody misunderstands. I do not agree. Imagine there's a guy sitting next to me and he's like, I think it's just ridiculous that I have to make a Steam account. I don't want to open up another launcher. Shut up. Like, that's what I say to that guy. Just shut up. Be quiet. Like, settle the frick down. I'm not going to buy this game. Like, I said I don't like it, but I do it. I'm like, it's fine. Whatever. I'll grumble as I'm doing it. I'm like, stupid Ubisoft or stupid Square Enix or whoever's making me make an account. I'm like, come on. Just let me get in your stinking game. Like, why is everybody got to ask my email now? It's like when you go to check out at the register at the company at the store, and they're like, "Do you want a magazine subscription? Do you want our credit card? Do you want this?" No, I came here to buy pretzels. Like, what are you doing? I don't want any of this stuff. Right? I came here to buy something. Leave me alone. Everything's doing it now. Everywhere you go, a pop up. Can we have your email? Pop up. Do you want our credit card? Pop up. Do you want this thing? No, leave me alone. Stop it. Stop it. I don't agree with the guy that says and crosses his arms and says, I won't do it. This is ridiculous. I don't go that far. I'm like, it's not that big deal, dude. Shut up and get over it. Just do it. We both agree that it's dumb. Just do it. But to me, I think from the perspective of the consumer, from the perspective of the people that bought the first one, from the perspective of, hey, you just launched a game and you had Sucker Punch go on Twitter and say, you don't need a PSN for the campaign. We're only requiring it for the multiplayer. Now what you're doing is you're just confusing the customer. You look like you're not trustworthy. You look like what the frick are you guys doing? You just launched a game and said we didn't need it if we didn't want to do the multiplayer, and now you're requiring it for a single player game. That's confusing. It's not a good look for the business. If you're trying to expand your games into PC, this ain't the way. How is it confusing? How is it not confusing to have a PlayStation first-party studio go out on Twitter, and in the wake of the Helldivers 2 situation, Sucker Punch says you don't need a PSN if you're just going to play the campaign. You only need it for the multiplayer. But now that doesn't apply. No, that applied to Tsushima, but it doesn't apply to Ragnarok. Well, and you didn't need one for God of War 2018. What changed? What's going on? Why? The consumer's hardly bothered? Yeah, you're right, Russell. The consumer's hardly bothered. 177 countries can't buy the sequel. But yeah, the consumer's hardly bothered. I'm annoyed at people complaining about one of the most mundane things I've ever seen, and you confuse that with defense of it. Okay, here's the problem, Eugene. Here's the problem with this discussion. The PC guys approach this situation from a perspective that can be, sure, they can be annoying. They can be severely annoying. And I think they enjoy being annoying. I do. I think it's like a matter of pride for them. They're like, like that's their attitude, right? That's how they sound. Like when you read their tweets, you just hear me. Like that's what they are. Okay, so I get it. You see the situation, you like PlayStation, and you're like, get the frick over it, PC guys. It's not that big of a deal. And at that level, I'm like, okay, I kind of agree with you. They just need to get over it, okay? They just need to just suck it up, cupcake, make an account, be quiet. It's a good enough game to warrant you making an account with... You're not making an account with some fly-by-night company. You're making an account with PlayStation, which I guess you could push back and say they've had a lot of data breaches and hacks, and you'd be right. So maybe there is good reason to say, I don't want to make an account with PlayStation. I think that'd be fair. That would be a fair thing to say. Like, yeah, I'd be happy to make one with PlayStation, but can they go 365 days without a data breach and a hack where my personal information is then subject to the dark web? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get it. I get why people think this is not big of a, this is not that big of a deal. But I always look at the consumer and say, make it extremely easy for the consumer to do the thing. Like, and you're like, but it is easy to make this account. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that you now have to limit where this game is sold. That frustrates me. I'm like, wait, what? So now a bunch of people can't buy this game because you want their data? Get out of here. That's stupid. I'm coming at it from that approach. I'm not coming at it from the approach of like, oh man, it's such a ridiculous thing to ask the PC guys to do. Oh, we all do it. Shut up. Like, I've played so many games where I have to go make an account. Get the frick over it. Right? But on the other side of the coin, I'm like, bro, why are you doing this? Now you're limiting where the game can be sold. AOZ says, hang on. Right. Yeah. That's an element of this. And many of us, I have made this speculation. I have speculated that this is groundwork for them making their own launcher. Surayu, $20 super chat tip says, it wasn't happening before and it's happening now. Will PC players complain about the next game requiring an account? You have to pull the trigger at some point. 3 or 4 games from now, the complaints will just look dumb. I don't necessarily disagree with you. I wish they just would have done this with the first couple of games and we wouldn't even be talking about this. That's my frustration with it. Maybe they weren't equipped to do it yet, but, maybe the account synchronization wasn't set up yet. Maybe it wasn't. I wish they would have done this with their first games, right? If they would have done this with like Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War 2018, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. It would be like, what? Be quiet. Like they've been doing this since the first games arrived. SSJ Havoc with a $10 tip says, even on PC, I'm not one of those I hate too many launchers PC gamers. I don't think a lot of us PC guys are actually like that. Always looked at this as a minor annoyance, not a deal breaker. Oh, truth be told, I don't think most people care about this. Like, if you ask me my opinion on how many PC gamers do you think really care about this, probably less than 5% of the people that go to the storefront of Ragnarok are going to be like, oh, this is ridiculous, and then they're not going to buy it. Like, I would say less than 5%. The vast majority of people are going to land on the God of War Ragnarok's page and be like, I can't wait to play this game. I got to make a PSN account? Oh, that's fine. Or they'll already have one, right? Like, I know for a fact, like, this is the kind of thing that, like, my nephews wouldn't even care about. The younger generation is just like, give me to the game. I don't care. What do I got to do? I don't care. They don't have, like, proclivities and preferences about this kind of stuff. They're not like, cool, hang on a minute. I don't know if I want to make an account. They'll just do it. 1 in 20, I'd say less than that. I'd say it's a vocal 1%. Yeah, it's a vocal. That's why I said less than 5%. Like 95, 96, 97, whatever, somewhere in that range. The vast majority of people are going to go to this storefront and say, oh, that's fine. I'm frustrated by it because I think there's another way to approach it, and I think you've now limited where it can be sold. And I think that that's dumb. I think that that's stupid. I think you could have taken a completely different approach to this. And for single player games, I do have like almost like I don't know if I would call it an ideology. I have the personal belief that this is incredibly pointless for single player games. And you can tell me the business impetus and the business reasoning all you want. I think when a customer goes to buy a single player game and you're like, you have to make an account with us. Oh, come on. Why? Just leave me alone, man. I just want to play a video game. I don't want to make an account. I'll do it, but I'm not happy about it. It doesn't make me like your company anymore. And then it adds all kinds of problems half the time anyway. Like if their background authentication isn't working, what if you can't get in the game? There was a night where Hilly and I wanted to play It Takes Two. And because EA's servers were having trouble, like we couldn't get in. Like I buy the game in a launcher, thinking like, well, as long as the launcher's working, as long as my internet's working, I should be able to play. It's not like an online game with servers. I just got to connect to my buddy peer to peer. But their authentication servers were acting up. We almost couldn't play. I was like, are you kidding me? We've got this great exciting stream planned and your servers are having trouble. We finally got in, but it was like, we're just trying to play a co-op game, like a peer-to-peer co-op game. Steam has been hacked more than Sony. Hilly says, don't drag me into this one. You aren't using Sony servers, you're using Steam servers? Well, I'm fairly certain that if you did the multiplayer for Ghost of Tsushima Legends, I do think you'd be using PlayStation's infrastructure to do that. You'd be using their social backbone. I think it's kind of like when you play Fall Guys. If you play Fall Guys, you're using Epic's social backbone to play the game. 37.9 subscribers. Yeah, we're very close to 38,000 subscribers. That's right. On the doorstep of 40,000, man. And then it's just a run. Then it's just a run to 50. Not defending it, but it seems like a small price to pay to play a formal console exclusive game on PC, especially great games like Ragnarok. Yo, Kira He with a 5 spot says, my friend, I absolutely love your calm and analytic way. You're absolutely the best content creator on YouTube. That's very kind. Thank you very much. I mean, I got pretty wound up there. I think that there was a better way of doing this. It frustrates me when I see a really good game. Like, I was super worried about Ghost of Tsushima. Like, you guys remember? Like, I was personally almost like anxious about it. I was like, I love this game. I want to see it do well on Steam, and this stupid Helldivers 2 situation is going to make people not want to buy Ghost of Tsushima. And thankfully, they got in front of it, and they were like, you don't need a PSN, to play Ghost of Tsushima's campaign. Wouldn't it likely be better to have this as a requirement for everything going forward? Or else this gets brought up all the time. Okay, this is part of the problem, Russell. It was my understanding that the situation with Helldivers was that it was because it was a multiplayer game. We were all looking at it from that perspective. Now, maybe we were looking at it erroneously, but Ghost of Tsushima certainly set that expectation. That if you're going to play a PlayStation Live service game, you're going to need to make a PlayStation account. because it was like, oh, they want to do it with Helldivers. Everybody ranted and raved not to do it because it had been off for 3 months, and you literally sold it to people who couldn't make an account unless they basically say they're in a region that they're not, which is dumb. And then they had to restrict the game and the regions that it was sold in. That still has not been resolved, which has hurt the player numbers, right? That's why that situation frustrated me. It's like, you're hurting the player funnel. The player funnel is God. It's a live service game. What are you doing? Why? This is not that important. Take this one on the chin, and then going forward, all your live service games have it as a requirement. And then Ghost of Tsushima walks into the market and says, oh, you only need a PSN if you're gonna do the multiplayer. How does that not send forth the message that this is about multiplayer games? This isn't about single player games. Think about it. Think about it. How many games had they launched on PC and they didn't require this? Oh, I've got another zinger for you. Returnal uses the Epic Online infrastructure so that you can play co-op. So that's a multiplayer game that doesn't even require the PSN. So you have all these single player games that don't require it. It gets introduced with Helldivers 2 rather terribly. Like, the rollout of this has been just awful. Just horrendous. Like, what are you doing? You know, and if it would have been required for Moment 1 with Helldivers and they wouldn't have had to turn anything off, you know, maybe that would have set the expectation. But again, it still would have felt like you're only going to require this in multiplayer games. You've not required it for Days Gone or Sackboy or Ratchet and Clank or God of War. You've not required it for any of these games. You're requiring it now, and it seemed again like, oh, this is a multiplayer thing. I think Ghost of Tsushima got it tied to multiplayer strictly because of the backlash on trying to put it into Helldivers 2. That's not true. It was in the original blog post. That's incorrect. In the original blog post, it 100% indicated that you would need a PSN to play Legends. We went and read it. That was the plan from Moment 1 with Tsushima. I don't think they went in and removed that. The original blog post announcements for Tsushima made that very clear. Returnal PC can't co-op with PlayStation. With PlayStations, which is sucky. Really? I really would love Returnal to give a checkpoint to the co-op person. That would be so great. I would love to play that game with my wife. But we beat a biome, and then it's like, all right, I got to go to bed. It's the end of the night. I want to get a checkpoint, and then she doesn't get the checkpoint. Again, the energy is simply not the same for all the other companies doing this, and there's an air of hypocrisy that makes the whining seem all the more childish. So when these other companies require it, does it limit where the game can be sold? Does a game requiring you to make an account with them all of a sudden make it to where 177 countries can't buy the game? I'm a wild man. It's 10 p.m. I need to go to sleep. I'm not buying Ghosts on PC until they figure out the region issue. If it never gets resolved, I guess I'm not buying it either. No, I don't think they're going to fix that. I don't think they want you to be able to buy Ghost of Tsushima and not be able to access the entirety of the game if you so choose. So I don't think they'll ever sell Ghost of Tsushima in those regions. Yo, Stone Spire Gifts a member, takes us to 43. Like, if they'd have to sell a version of Ghost of Tsushima with Legends ripped out. And another one from Stone Spire takes us to 44. He's going to go up to 45. I can feel it. I know what he's doing. He's the man. He's trying to tempt somebody. Somebody tag team with this man. Drop a 5-bomb as soon as he drops his third. Come on, somebody get ready. You guys suggesting that PC players don't complain about the other storefronts, etc., and are solely targeting Sony is sorely misinformed. I also agree with what Omar is saying. You guys honestly think this is the only time the PC audience has gotten upset about this? They've made it clear they don't like this. Oh. Oh. Ooh, that felt good. Both my hips popped. You ever do that? It's almost like a stretch. And your hips just pop. It felt phenomenal. Okay. Why can't I type? LOL. Okay. Sounds good. Sorry. I am going to be on Pure Dead Gaming with Donnie later today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So I will provide you guys a link to that. That's later today. Make sure you're following me on Twitter at Reforge Gaming. Make sure you are in the Discord. That is linked below. You will never miss out on any of the stuff that I'm doing. Yo, Tyler Johnson with 34 months and a VIP. Thank you so much. Oh, and I miss it. MASH with the 5 bomb sends us home to 50, but then another 5 comes in and takes us to 55. 55 out of the next goal of 75. Ooh, you guys set up your own little 20 bomb potential dunker. We'll see if anybody takes the bait to go to 75. I owe you guys 10 members. Tyler Johnson also renewed their membership, 34 months on a VIP. Thank you so much, Tyler. And a $5 super chat tip from Wired Rope says the backlash from Helldivers was because they were removing access from the game if you didn't have the account. Yeah, and I think that's justifiable. Like, suddenly revoking access is ridiculous. Like, what the frick? Just don't do it. I get it. I get why they're doing it. I just think it's silly. Okay, we've all shared our piece about this, so let's not beat this dead horse any longer. All right, let's shift to something else. Alex with a 10 bomb gets us halfway. He's like, listen, I'll do half of the 20 bomb if somebody else picks up the other half of it, and we'll see if anybody grabs a hold and joins him. Yeah, I think we've said our piece about this. I did a whole stream on the Helldiver situation. So, why don't you sell coffee in Europe? We do, but I think we just discourage people from doing it because they'll end up spending more on the shipping than the coffee. Why don't you sell Latin America? I mean, some of the reasons that we don't sell there is because of like regional shipping issues. That's not something that we have control over. And a 10 bomb from MASH takes us to 75. Like, PlayStation's voluntarily saying, we're going to require this, and because we require this, these people can't buy it. I'm not requiring anything. I go on the back end of shipping, and it's like ridiculous. It's like it doesn't. We have to calculate shipping to places where we would likely never get an order, and if we did get an order, that person would spend $75 on shipping for $15 worth of coffee, so we don't do it. True SSJ Havoc with a gifted. That is an Agents of Chaos. Thank you so much. Well, you guys are going to do it. You're going to get an extra 100. I don't even know what I can do. We're running out of incentives. So there's a profit motive? Well, no, we would still make profit. My profit margin on a bag of coffee doesn't change if you order from Zimbabwe or San Francisco. My profit margin is protected on the coffee because you're buying it. You are paying for that bag of coffee. You, though, as a consumer, are also then saying, let me give a bucket of cash to the shipping, to the post office, so that thing can get all the way here. It's also really complicated. We have to go into the back end and do shipping calculations for all those regions, and then we have to add them in one by one. And when we do that, it's like I'm basically adding for someone who will likely never order, and if they do order, again, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like you are going to be giving, if you want to support me and you're going to buy $100 worth of coffee, then that $100 is far better spent. You could either gift, super chat, or just don't do it. It just doesn't seem to make any sense. Wayfinder is rebooting into a co-op looter shooter? Really? 2Spot with True SSJ Havoc says, I'm the Agent of Chaos. Thank you so much. Speaking to Zubair. Oh, I thought he was talking to me about why I don't sell coffee in certain regions. Well, I mean, if they add other regions in the future, I wouldn't care. It's not worth it for you? Just stop. You're being condescending. You're not going to get me to admit your predetermined conclusion. It's annoying. I don't do it because I think it's stupid for somebody to spend $100 to get $15 worth of coffee. You've got your predetermined conclusion. You think you're going to lawyer me into saying it. I've never made the decision to not sell coffee in certain regions because, well, I won't make enough money. I've always made it about the consumer. I've always said that just seems silly to me. I've even discouraged guys in the UK. I've got guys in the UK willing to buy the coffee, and I'm like, God, just don't do it. You're going to give $80. You're going to give $50 to the post office. You're going to give a bunch of your hard-earned money to the post office. That seems like a waste to me. You're not gonna get me to absolutely backflip into giving you the answer that you want. That's not why we don't sell coffee in those regions. It's too much trouble, and I feel like it's a misuse of the consumer that wants to support me. It's a misuse of their funds. You want to support me, and you're going to give $80 to the post office. That's stupid. I'm thinking about the consumer when I say that. I don't care if that's how you want to spend $100. Like, go ahead, but that seems like an absolute ridiculous way to spend your money. Better chance of buyer's remorse as well. Yeah, so it's region locked. Why do you hate the post office? A 5-bomb from Cyru. Thank you so much, taking me to 81. Like, I love a good devil's advocate, Eugene, and I like debating with you, but come on, dude. Like, you're not going to get me to say something that I don't convictionally feel. I don't convictionally feel like, well, we don't sell the coffee in that region because I won't make enough money. It's like, well, no, I make the money on the coffee regardless. I make a profit margin on every bag of coffee. That doesn't stop because the person had to spend more on shipping. Most of the comments here have been condescending. Sony ponies jumping from targeting Xbox to PC now. The experience is just different. People like their platform like you like yours. I don't care, but I get it. How are people challenging you on this? Lono doesn't see that what he's doing is the exact same thing that Sony is doing with not selling to those 177 regions. No, I'm not doing the same thing. It's a false equivalency. Sony is requiring something that those regions can't do. They can't do it. Sony says, we're requiring this, therefore you can't buy it. I'm not doing that. I'm not requiring anything. I'm saying, out of consideration for the people that come and support me, I think it's a misuse of their support to say, oh, you want to get a coffee to support me and you're going to spend an exorbitant amount of money to do that. It's not the same at all. Hang on, Solemn. Let me see if I can click. The feature wasn't working yesterday for channel activity. Let me see if I can see everything you've said in this stream. No, yeah, the live chat summary thing is completely broken. This was such a great feature, and now it doesn't work. Let me see if I can open your chat history in a new tab. No, I can't. Yeah. What a bummer. That is such a great feature, and now I can only see your most recent 3 messages in this chat and in all others. All right, hang on. Let me scroll up. Or you can just repost it. I can't find it. Chat's moving so fast. You were talking with Kevin George. I can't scroll up any further now because I stinking left chat and came back, so now it limits what I can see. You're going to have to repost it, Solemn. All I know is if selling to those countries was worth it, they would figure it out. Well, I mean, I have it on good authority. They are trying to expand where PSN is available. They are. And you're probably right, Eugene. They probably just run the numbers and say the number of sales we would get from those 177 countries, it's not worth us going back on our business interests, right? They're doing business interest triage. They're saying, we have a business interest in getting people's data and getting people to make accounts because this is a long-term plan for creating a larger and more integrated ecosystem of PlayStation users. And those 177 countries, from a sales projection standpoint, aren't strong enough to warrant us to not do this thing that we want to do, right? We want to do this thing. And this is more important than selling to those 177 countries. That's fine. I can intellectually understand it. And I can still say, I think that's really, really stupid and confusing for the consumer to suddenly have this thing that you're doing and you didn't do it with your others. You didn't even do it with Tsushima. Listen, I think this conversation would be incredibly different. If they would have done it with Tsushima, I'd have been like, well, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with requiring a login for a single-player game, but this is what they're doing going forward. And I'd have been ticked. I'd have been as mad as a hornet. I'd have been like, because Tsushima's like one of my favorite games. And so to me, at least the standard would be in place. I'd be like, yeah, well, they did this with Tsushima, so guys, this is just the standard now. But that's why I'm frustrated by it. I'm like, you guys just, this has been rolled out terribly. Hornets aren't mad, they're misunderstood. This has just been a terrible rollout. It's confusing and inconsistent from the consumer's perspective. From Helldivers to Tsushima to God of War Ragnarok, this has not been a good rollout at all. Solemn says, do you consider making an EA account for some games the same as having to make a PlayStation profile and an account for a system you might not even own or want to support? I consider them all equal because I don't like them. Like, I don't like the habit of like giving my email and making a password with some other company. I don't like it. It's irritating. It's like, come on. Now, again, I do it. It's an inconvenience, it's a frustration point, but it's not strong enough for me to not buy a game. Sony's evolving. They're testing out the PC crowd. Sure. Listen, a company can do something, and I can totally understand what they're doing. That doesn't mean I like it. Do you like it when a subscription service increases its price? I mean, you can read a blog post about it. You can read an article. You can read market analysis that intellectually explains why these companies raise their prices on their subservices. Does that make you smile and say, goody gumdrops, can't wait to give more money to Netflix and Disney Plus? Just because you intellectually understand the business impetus, the background aspects of why this is happening, doesn't mean you're like, yeah, man, can't wait to make another account with another company. I can't wait to have to make an account with every stupid developer out there. It's going to be a great time. And we'll all say, it's not a big deal. Every game does it. Yeah, I can't wait to, every time I boot up a game, they're going to be like, hey, how you doing? We would like you to make an account with us. Oh, for Pete's sakes. Like, no. Alex with the 10 bomb, taking us to 91 members on the day. Just unbelievable support lately. Jiminy Christmas. Omar says, let me refocus on that. PC gamers care about performance over anything. Adding additional software layers and launchers on top of the launcher they already use eats into resources, and that's always bad. Well, and historically, the other launchers are just terrible. Like, Steam has certainly had its rough spots in its history as a launcher, but come on. It's a very utilitarian piece of software. It's you open it, there's your stuff, you play the game, that's it. Like the other anytime I had to open up Origin, I was like, what is this? Uplay? And a 10 bomb from Quintar. And that's Agents of Chaos, 101 members. Unreal. You guys are absolutely crushing it. That means we had 595. That's 696 members on the week. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to do. You guys are about to hit another stretch goal. You're about to hit 700 members on the week. Like, what the frick am I supposed to do? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do next? Alex with a $2 super chat says, again, Creature, are you happy now? Hey, I thought Creature's feedback was good. I think when you guys gift members, you should be able to put a super chat message in chat. I agree with that. I think that would be perfect. What a week. That's right. What a week. I think it's been more fun to hit member goals when we're not looking at the total member count. It's like it's easier to track it. It's more exciting to celebrate it. Yes, what's good, 30? I saw you talking in the chat earlier, and I was going around and around with somebody, and I didn't say hi to you, Mike. Yeah, he has to play Foam Stars tonight with me. It's amazing how PC gamers are so protective of Steam. I don't think they view it as being protective of Steam, AOZ. They feel like they're being protective of their library. It's where all their stuff is. You know? It's where all their stuff is. Black and White Ghost of Tsushima run? Yeah, but I want to do that. That's not a stretch goal. Swayed. I'm not sure you can compare paying more money for a yearly subscription versus making a free account. That's not what I was doing, Trill. That's not what I was doing at all. I said, just because you understand the business impetus behind something doesn't mean you're okay with it. And I used hyperbole to make my point. A more extreme example would be you can intellectually understand why someone raises their subscription service. That doesn't mean you enjoy it or you're okay with it. Yes, of course, you just keep the subscription if you like the shows and the movies enough. Yes, I'll just make the account if I want to play the game badly enough. But that doesn't mean that I enjoy it or that it's like, that's fine. No, well, that's okay. Everybody does it. I understand intellectually why these businesses want our data. You know what I'm saying? Go against Madam and order a pizza. Yo, 5-bomb from Alex. 100% agree. I would only gift members if I could send a message. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. 18 months from Lazaro. Good to see you, Lazaro. Not liking something isn't the same as not understanding. I'm with you here, Lono. I'm a pony, but I still don't like it. Got a dash. See you later. All right, Donnie. Lono plays a bad game with beer goggles while drinking beer. The goal for another stretch goal. I don't even know what that would be, Vaughn. I don't even know what that would be. What would it be? How else does Sony stop or slow piracy? I mean, do you think this will stop people? Couldn't somebody... I'm not an expert. Couldn't somebody download the game? They have all the information now on their computer. Couldn't they, like, remove it? Can't they remove those things? Can't you go in and remove that type of stuff? Would this be similar to, like, removing DRM? Lono, you should charge $100 for your coffee for those people that want to pay $75 for shipping so they feel that the value is there. That's right. Oh, yeah, you want to buy my coffee in another country? It'd be $100 a bag. Can we get Creature to play Splatoon 3 and with mic open, a 9-year-old? Ma, a man on my team called me a ball sack. What's that? No, we're not doing that. Hey, Lono, if you're interested about why PSN isn't available in some countries, I can give you a PDF read about PSN Philippines not materializing. Can you give me a too long didn't read? I'm not trying to write a thesis on this, homie. Like, I appreciate the offer, but can you give me like a very quick, can you give me the Cliffs Notes? It won't stop people. Not an amount that matters. Don't lock your house. Just leave your keys in your car. Oh, I'm not saying that they shouldn't try to prevent piracy because people can get around it, Eugene. I was just asking, can't people get around it anyway? I don't think the primary reason they're doing this is for piracy, is the point that I was making, Eugene. I don't think this is driven primarily by piracy. I think this is driven by the want for data. They want your data. They want you to be part of their ecosystem. They want you to be like, they want you to think of their games as part of PlayStation, not just something that you buy in Steam. It makes sense. Imagine playing God of War Ragnarok and some Fimbulwinter achievement pops up. And it's the PlayStation achievement. And it's attached to your account. Like, that's a very, very subtle and subversive way to make you feel like, hey, you're part of PlayStation now. They don't have to come and tell you that. They don't have to be like, yeah, you're no, but it's very subtle. It's an official document by our government's SEC. I don't think it is either. Maybe a secondary thing. Sony doesn't have a strong anti-piracy DRM already. Yeah, I don't think the PSN thinks about piracy. I don't. Hey, Bellix is here. How are you, Bellix? Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're well. The vehement defense of Steam by PC gamers has always been baffling. I have all the launchers because I want to play the games there. Isn't that the same thinking that goes along with buying consoles? I'm going to try to help you out, Dr. Killshot. There's a lot of people here, and myself included. I have been prone to defend PlayStation's business decisions. I do. I typically defend their business decisions. And the reason that I do is I see them as sound and good and benefiting me. Okay? Now track with me here. Steam does a lot of things that the Steam user base really likes. And they really feel like, hey, we got to protect Steam. I like Steam. My games are here. Their return policy's great. All hail Lord Gavin, right? Like there's an entire element there of it's very similar. It's like you feel like these guys, they do what I appreciate. They have a value system. They have a way of treating the consumer that they like. So Steam users defending Steam is not really any different than the people in here that would defend PlayStation, Jim Ryan's virtuous cycle. You see what I'm saying? I don't think it's any different. I think it's very, very similar. It's just a horse of a different color. It's like, one color's green because they love Xbox, one color's red because they love Nintendo, one color's blue because they love Sony, and, whatever the heck color Steam would claim. I get why people do it. It's like all their games are there. They feel like the company has their back. They feel like the company treats them well. So they defend the company. They're like, hey, I like Steam. I like how Steam treats me. I like what Steam brings to the PC market for me. All my stuff's in one place. If a game sucks, I get to return it. I get really, really reliable I get really, really reliable aggregate user scores so I can know how good or bad a game is. I did that just yesterday. I went through my wish list on Steam, and anything that was under 80%, I just deleted it from my wish list. I was like, my backlog is so ridiculous. Why would I even keep a game on my wish list that's below an 80%? Thank you, Steam. Really helped me thin out my backlog of games that I might want to check out on PC. Which, by the way, my wife and I checked out, I think it's called Arc Runner on PlayStation. If you like a shooter rogue game like Gunfire Reborn, I would not touch Arc Runner. It's not very good. The font's really hard to read. The controls aren't that great. The fighting and the combat's not that great. We did not like it. We played Gunfire Reborn for about 5 minutes, and we were like, this is great. We fell in love with it. I need another shooter rogue to play with my wife that isn't Returnal. Although we could probably just start playing Returnal and just see how insanely good we could get at the first biome. We got really, really good at gunfire, but with gunfire, we were consistently getting to the next levels, and that's what made it enjoyable. The problem with Returnal is it's really, really hard to get into the other biomes without using a checkpoint, and you can't use a checkpoint in co-op. Steam is an excellent platform. It's hard to honestly say that for the other ones. They were fine until Helldivers and the PC crybabies. If you don't like Sony, don't buy the games. If you don't want a PSN, simple. What's Craven saying? Oh, that's exactly what I just read. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the dialogue around this it's very similar to the green versus blue, ponies versus the bots. I just think, listen, there's a part of me that's like, I kind of don't mind the PC guys being upset, because I find most of them to be pretty, not you guys that hang out here. A lot of the PC Master Race guys are really annoying. I mean, they kind of ask for it. You know what I mean? It's like when you see those instant karma videos and some guy's like running his mouth and he gets popped or slapped, and you're just kind of like, serves you right. Like, there's a part of me that kind of feels that way about this. But my conviction is that I don't like it. I'm like, no, I think this is stupid. It's a single-player game. It's not needed. I don't like it in other single-player games, and I don't like it here. I'm being consistent. Anytime a game has asked me to do this, I get irritated, and I get mad, and I criticize it. So I'm doing it to PlayStation. A 2-spot from Lazaro. Astro Day 1. Yo, Astro Bot looks so good. If Rivals is free-to-play, we'll definitely try it. I think Rivals is free-to-play, isn't it? Why do you think I police the PC guys that come in here and talk crap and require 4090 to talk PC Master Race? They're annoying as F. Right. They all talk like they got 4090s and they don't. That's where the convo should end. I don't like it. Well, I also wish that it didn't restrict regions, Eugene. That's the other part of it that I think is stupid. Like, figure that out first. Like, figure that out first and then require it. You see what I'm saying? Especially because it's a sequel. Like, I think it's especially frustrating because it's a sequel, Eugene. And it's a really good sequel. It's a really good sequel. Rich Rob with a $5 super chat. Tip says, it'd be great to have one launcher, but if you choose to game on PC, you also choose to game with the annoyances of multiple launchers. It's a choice. The martial arts game that gave me God of War vibes, the one where the guy has a child on his back. Oh, that game was called Ballad of Antera. I would be a little leery of that game. I'm going to give you a little bit of a warning. That game is being described as an action RPG, single player. You can play the 3 people max multiplayer, like play together. And they have post-launch content plans, and it will be free to play. And it's being made by a developer who is based out of China. So I would be a little cautious with that one. I'm not saying every Chinese developer is going to put bad microtransactions in their game, but there's a lot of red flags there. The Chinese culture around gaming has been far more receptive to really bad microtransactions. So you have a Chinese developer launching what looks like a pretty big action RPG for free with post-launch content plans. I would be very cautious. I'd be like, that one could end up being a gotcha or something. It could end up being a game that gets a lot of criticism. It could be great, but I'm not really accustomed to seeing a game of that size, that graphical caliber being free to play, unless it's got bad stuff in it. You know? Literally red flags because of China, no pun intended. Talica with 24 months in a VIP says 2 years. Also can't wait to play Astro Bot. Yeah, I mean, Astro Bot just stole the show for me. And people that were like, you know, making fun of it or mocking it or whatever. It's like, it doesn't matter what PlayStation does. Like, certain people are just going to make fun of it. They're going to say the same thing. It's like, okay, so stop making third-person, you know, action narrative-focused games. Okay. And they come out with Concord. And then they walk out with Astro Bot. And then people still make fun of those games. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Like, Astro Bot is quite literally a classic style video game. It just looks amazing. It looks fun. You know what I mean? It's like, we want variety. Let's get back to the classic old school days of like Jack and Daxter. And I want old school PlayStation. And then Astro Bot walks out and people are like, what the freak is this? It's like, it's literally great. That's what it is. Like, I saw a really, really good clip. This woman was going through this drive-through, and she was. It seemed like she was trying to pull a fast one. You know, she was like, "Oh, I said I wanted that. I don't want that now. Oh, I said I wanted this drink, and I don't want that now." And the kid's like, "What the?" And he starts cussing. She's like, she gets upset, and at one point she's like, "What kind of customer service is this?" And he's like, "What kind of customer are you?" It was such a great response. And I want to say that to some gamers. Like, what kind of customer are you? Like, everything sucks, everything's bad, nothing is good. Maybe it's time to find a new hobby. You know what I mean? If every game that comes out, every trailer, if it's all a disappointment, it might be time to take up knitting or something. I don't know. It doesn't. Maybe gaming isn't for you anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like everything sucks. Yeah, Astro can be PlayStation's Mario. I agree with that. I saw a lot of people saying that. Like, this is basically PlayStation's Mario. And I'm like, yeah, I could see that. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is my favorite PS5 title. It's such a great game. It's so fun. Never said any sweeping generalization about Sony games, so I'm free to think Astro Bot is an absolute crap fest. But why is it, though, Hilly? Like, let's say you're not interested in playing it. That's fine. I'm not interested in playing Dynasty Warriors, but I wouldn't say that it's a crap fest. Like, what do you see about Astro Bot that's bad, that you think is terrible? It has all of the classic platformer, like action platformer tropes. It just looks great. Like, really big bosses, incredible colorful worlds, really unique abilities, like really, really fun, satisfying encounters and mechanics. Like, it just looks like a blast. Astro Bot's like a throwback to the era of great platformer titles that everybody enjoyed. Not everything has to be a third-person, hyper-realistic game. That's what I'm saying. Not every game needs a gun. Yeah, the really big bosses really reminded me of Mario Galaxy. I loved Mario Galaxy. Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are two of the best Nintendo games I feel like I've ever played with my wife. We played them co-op. They were so fun. Astro's sick. The first one you have to blow on the controller to get through puzzles. Never have I wanted to blow on a controller in my life. The product placement alone and the bot look so cheese. I mean, I don't see why the product placement is a problem. I think it's funny. I also think all of the Easter eggs are really, really cool. All of the PlayStation game Easter eggs, all the characters, like Aloy was at the end, and like Kratos is in there, Nathan Drake was in there. I think the one character from Journey was in there. And then who's the dog that's like doing like the break dancing with like the beanie on? I forget the name of that game. Looking forward to Astro Bot, says Suede. My only concern is it becomes a collectathon. Yeah, I mean, some of those games, like Yoshi's Crafted World, my wife and I were really enjoying it, but it did start to turn into a collectathon. Hey, you beat that level and you got everything. Can you now go back into that level and get all of the dogs? Parappa the Rapper. Okay. That's a throwback, isn't it? That's from like a really old game, is it not? It's a rhythm game published by Sony in Japan in 1996. PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 days. That's awesome. Like, I knew I recognized the character, but I was like, I don't know who that is. It's like, I know I've seen that character before. That's old school. Let's not forget that Team Asabi created the full game based on the great feedback they got from Astro's Playroom. Yeah, both of my kids loved Astro's Playroom. They did. So when they got back last night, they were out doing something with their mom. And when they got back, I was like, I got something to show you guys. You guys are going to be so excited. And so I sat them down and I showed them the trailer, and they were just geeking out. They were pointing out all the different things. My son, it was really funny. My son was like, I wish we didn't have to fight the snake because he looks cool. Like, he wants the snake to be on your side. The one snake boss. I was like, yeah, the snake boss does look pretty cool. Easter egg's great, but Astro just comes across as one long advert. It's nothing, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm definitely within my rights to call it trash. I have actual reasons for doing so. I mean, I don't think that... I'm not trying to take away your right to call it trash. I just think it's weird to call a game trash that just because you don't like it. Like, you're like, I don't like it, so it is trash. Like, again, I don't like Monhun, Dynasty Warrior style games, like the little waifu games. You know. It started as an advert, but it's grown into something more. Yeah, I didn't see that much product placement. At the very, very end of the trailer, they're all sitting on a piece of Sony hardware. But throughout the trailer, I saw really great action sequences, really fun mechanics for platforming, really fun boss fights. I saw everything that I like in a game like that. You can play Astro Bot and your kid watches. Your kid can play Astro Bot and you can watch. Can't go wrong with that. So why won't Xbox do this? I don't understand what do you mean? You can play any game and another person can watch. Astro Bot shows you how much Sony takes pride in their history and prestige. It's still an advert? But what's it an advert for, Hilly? Are they advertising the fact that you can go buy the PlayStation 1 or old PlayStation hardware? How is it an advert? If you're playing Astro Bot, you're playing it on a PlayStation 5. So they're advertising the PlayStation 5 to you? I don't understand. I don't get it. Is it really product placement for things they don't even make anymore? That's what I'm saying. It's like you can't even get the items that they showed anymore. They're all old. It's just like a, hey, here's all the cool stuff that we made. And again, what's it an advert for? If you're playing the game on a PlayStation, they don't have to advertise anything to you. You already have the PlayStation. You know what I mean? You already got it. I think people can call whatever they want trash or great, says Mash. I don't take offense when people said that for Halo or Hellblade, but I don't think it would be reflective of the majority of views. Well, I don't mind criticizing a game and giving specific reasons, like Hellblade 2. I give a ton of specificity as to why I didn't like it. I wouldn't play 117 riding around on a controller. Well, I could understand why you wouldn't want to play as Master Chief riding around on a controller, because that would feel sort of like it would almost feel like it's a condescending thing to do to him. There's a lore and there's a prestige and there's a history, and it would sort of make him chintzy. If all of a sudden you take someone from a serious environment and you put them in a goofy environment. But like, whether it's Sackboy or Astro Bot, there's a level of levity and jocularity and silliness that I don't think it matters. It's like, oh, this is just fun. This is just kind of a goofy. It has more of like an arcade feeling to it. So like, I get where you're coming from on Halo specifically, but like, if Xbox came out with, you know, a goofy little cartoon game where you ran around as an X or something, or you ran around as a... They love controllers so much. I mean, why don't you make a game where you run around as a controller? I don't necessarily think I would care if it was fun. Like, if it was a fun time, I don't care. I love games like that. Like, Rayman Legends is a blast. The Mario games were traditionally very, very fun. Kirby and the Forgotten Lands was a really, really good game like that. So yeah, I just and the Astro's Playroom, it's really mechanically a fun time. You know, it's very short, it's very basic, but still. My 5-year-old loves watching me play Astro. Yeah, my kids were already like trying to call dibs. They were like, my daughter was like, I'm going to play it first when it launches. I was like, we have 2 PlayStations. You can both play. What do you guys think about my prediction that the Astro Bot launching in September? I feel like it's going to be a bundled launch title with the PS5 Pro, but I feel like they're going to sell it for like $50. Now, Paul, I think it was Paul, earlier was like, well, why would they only charge $50 for it if it's a full game? I still think there's just a stigma about a game like that. Like, I don't think people would look at that game and think that it's worth $70. It seems like sort of an arcade game. It doesn't seem like a full-fledged AAA game. Like, when I say it's a full-fledged game, I mean it, but I just think there's going to be a stigma if that thing is $70. I think 50 would just be, I don't know, that just feels like the right price. You know? A lot of stuff in September, very suspicious. That's right. That's right. Is it the same amount of game as Horizon Forbidden West? PS5 Pro reveal in Astro Bot? Oh, that'd be really cool. Like at the very end. You know, I could see that because at one point they go to the desert and like the PlayStation 5 without the side plates, like it comes up out of the sand. What if that's what you're doing in that game and eventually you find the PS5 Pro like at the end? By then maybe it's already been announced, right? Lono's kids. I'm going to play first. No, I'm going to play first. I have 2 PS5s, so you have to decide which of you is playing on the second one. That's right, Sheriff Bruce Lee. I was thinking about that. I was like, wait a minute. That means I won't be able to play. Who knows? By then, maybe my PlayStation Portal will have cloud, and I'll be able to play on the cloud. That'll basically turn my PlayStation Portal into a third PlayStation in the house if they turn on cloud. Although I'd have to unplug them from the internet because you can only have my account playing on one device, so I'd have to unplug them. You are pony children. You both have PlayStations. Actually, they both have Switches, but they don't have PlayStations. The PlayStations are mine and my wife's, and they have their own Switches. Sony should charge $70 for Astro Bot. Nintendo's going to charge $70 for the next Mario game. I don't see a difference. I think the problem is Nintendo has a track record and a history of doing that with their first-party property, and PlayStation has a track record and a history of doing that with their big AAA first-party pieces of property, and Astro Bot just doesn't look like that, right? Let's do a little sample here. Yeah, I mean, Sackboy's Big Adventure is 60. And I mean, that came out at a time where 60 was viewed as full price. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, you could be right. They might say, "No, this is a full-fledged game, it's $70." I could see them maybe selling it for 60, maybe. You don't see the difference between Astro Bot and Mario? It depends on the Mario game, Hilly. Some of the Mario games are almost identical to the graphical... I would actually say graphical fidelity in Astro Bot is significantly better. And it depends on the Mario game. Like, Mario Odyssey, I saw a lot of people comparing this to Mario Odyssey. Like, there's 80 levels in Astro Bot. 80. There's, what was it, 70 new enemies. That's a huge game. And a game like Mario Odyssey, or what was the Mario game with Bowser on the cover too? There was that one. Those levels were very basic. It's very similar to Odyssey. That's what I'm saying. Like, why is Astro Bot automatically not equal to Mario? Like, in what realm? Like, sure, in history and popularity, he's not there. But as far as game size and all of the content, I see it being equal to a lot of the Mario games I played recently. That's a lot. I mean, 80 levels, 70 enemies, 15 different abilities. That's a pretty substantive game. Yeah, Mario's 3D World. I would put everything I saw in Astro Bot right up against Mario's 3D World with the what was it, Mario? Yeah, Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. I would very much put them in the same environment. Mario is legendary in the gaming space. Astro Bot's a glorified advert. Right, but again, I don't think that that's true about Astro Bot, and I also think that Mario being around longer doesn't automatically make him better. It doesn't automatically make his game superior just because he's been around longer. Super Mario 3D World. Let's see. Super Mario 3D World. Time to beat. 10 hours. That's a 10-hour game. Number of levels. There are technically 8 overworlds in the main game with another 4 optional special worlds. Ultimately, there are 117 total levels to play depending on whether or not some courses count as levels in your book. Bowser Jr. and Mario dodge a huge blast of fire. Yeah, so some of the levels, it sounds like, in Mario's 3D World aren't really they're not like levels, right? Because this one's saying 82 courses. There's another summary saying that there's 82. There's another one saying 93. 93 stages, 82 courses. So it sounds to me like Astro Bot as a game is in the same hemisphere of size as Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, which is a full price game that takes about 10 hours to beat. Zoom Parasite says, too long didn't read of the Philippines. They would have to make a branch office in the Philippines to be able to do business there. They also have to have all of the transactions and downloading be made in the Philippines. For example, if you bought the game in the Philippines and say you moved to the USA, you won't be able to connect that PSN or buy using that PSN. They would also be required to have Sony talk to every credit card and debit card issuer in the Philippines. This is just my opinion on the document. Thank you, Assume Parasite. Also, nobody's been hands-on with Astro. The Mario backlog stands tall. They are not the same. Yeah, but I feel like you're being really disingenuous, Hilly. Like, we've been gaming long enough to know that when you look at a game like Astro Bot, you can see the quality. Like, it isn't hard to see that we're looking at a really, really great, arcade platformer game. We've been doing this long enough to know if we're going to look at trailers and say that game looks bad, like we've done with other games. I think this game has tons of evidence of being a very high quality game. I'm not denying that Mario has a proven track record, but Mario also doesn't have a single next-gen game in the market. This game's lighting, this game's graphics, this game's, the speed and the fluidity. There is not a Mario game in the market right now that looks and runs like this. That's never been Nintendo's MO. So, I think there's plenty here to say this is going to be a fantastic arcade platformer. Like, it looks really, really high quality. We've been doing this long enough to know, you can tell this game is going to score well, it's going to review well, people are going to absolutely love this game. You can just tell. It's like when a trailer comes out for a movie like Oppenheimer and everybody can tell, oh, that's going to go up for movie of the year. You know what I mean? Like, we have discernment. We've been gaming. I've been gaming since the Coleco. I have discernment as a gamer. I can look at a game and say, there is so much great quality and work that went into this. I can just look at the game and tell. We've done this with trailers for the last couple of years. It's not that difficult. No, I don't think that's Kong in the intro. There's definitely PlayStation Easter eggs throughout. I was curious if the octopus was from Tentacular, the PSVR2 game. What Mario game shows Nintendo history in its gameplay and level design? I think some of the best level design in some of their best games have been Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 and Mario Odyssey. They're really, really good. New guitars come onto the market constantly, says Zubair. They're sometimes better than Gibson's, but they can't charge what Gibson does because Gibson has the name. Price is a function of the market, not quality. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think this is going to be a $50 to $60 game. I don't think they're going to try to charge $70 for Astro Bot. I don't think they're going to. I think it's going to be a $50 to $60 game. Is it in the store yet? Because it's available then. Is it even in the store yet? Can we see? I think it's a little early for that, isn't it? Astro Bot Rescue Mission. Oh, that's a PSVR thing. Astro's Playroom. Astro Bot. Yeah, it's been announced. It's in the PlayStation Store. It's just been announced. It's got the description. It's got the release date. Yeah, I'm not seeing a price. Astrobot's getting his own full-price platformer, says VGC. It's this brand new game. You'll explore 6 galaxies, 80 levels, 15 abilities. The trailer shows double down on the cast. Okay, yeah, I don't think anybody has an inside scoop on the price yet. I think it's going to be 50 to 60. Again, that's just my guess. And I think they're going to bundle it with all the PS5 Pros. Like, I think if you buy a PlayStation 5 Pro, you just get Astro Bot. What do I think Concord costs? Whatever Helldivers 2 cost. Excuse me. I try not to yawn on stream. I apologize. A gifted member from Rissick takes us to 102. Thank you. Golly. Oh, it's 12:30. Sorry. Okay. I'm not going to complain if it's less than 70, but I'm expecting 70. We'll see. I tell you what we're going to do, though. I'm going to gift you guys 20 members that I owe you for the 100 that we got. Just a massive amount of support for the channel this week. And then we're going to go hang out with members. There is the 20 members that I owe you. You guys have absolutely blown me away this week. We have 595 plus 102. You guys currently have 697 members this week. absolute bonkers numbers. We always have a goal for the week. It gets higher every week because the incentives get better every week. Okay, so we usually start with 250 members, and then we go up from there. And this last month, you got to see me fight Moog as an incentive. You got to see me play a scary game where Madam could freak me out. And then tonight you get to see me play Foam Stars with Creature. That'll be fun. You missed my last comment? All right, hang on. Hilly says, it's basically such a copy of Mario Nintendo. Maybe that's why I don't like it. I see a blend of things, Hilly. Like, I see more Sackboy and Mario. Like, I see like a blend of like influences of Sackboy. There's obviously influences from the first Astro game as well. Like, they're not just purely stealing from... When did the first Astro game came out? The first Astro video game. Astro first appeared in 2013's The Playroom. Okay. All right. Mario Galaxy release date 2007. Okay. Mario Galaxy 2 2010. So yeah, even the first Playroom could have heavily borrowed from Mario, but you know, good artists steal. A lot of games do that. Oh, and here we go. A single from MASH, another single from MASH, and a single from Stone Spire, and a single from Mike on a Mic, and a single from Detonator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 single gifteds in a row, taking us. You guys basically just got over 700 members for the week. And a single from MASH takes us to 108. Every platformer is going to borrow from Mario. Yeah, like, it's really hard to be like, I want to make an adventure arcade platformer and not have it remind you of Mario. Like, how do you not do that? Yo, what's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. Are you the last guy playing Foam Stars? Yo, another one from MASH. Thank you so much. Listen, man, they keep doing stuff in Foam Stars. I don't know. They keep adding things. They keep updating things. I don't know what's going on with that game. I would imagine that the player numbers are terrible. But I continued to think that it had a shot in the Asian market, you know? Nobody knew Splatoon was going to be what it was. Like, the first time you saw a Splatoon trailer, did you say, well, it's going to be an enormous hit? No, nobody thought that. So... And MASH slow walks us all the way to a nice little neat 110. Thank you for doing that, MASH. Well, the stretch goal was a onesie, but now you guys hit another stretch goal. The goal for the week was 500 members. You hit 600, and then you just passed 700. What the heck am I supposed to do now? I'm running out of ideas. Like, we're going to make him play Foam Stars. When we play Foam Stars, I will go put on a onesie to up the cute factor, because we want to annoy Creature, but we also want to make me suffer a little bit as well. I don't know what to do for 700. I honestly don't. I'm out of ideas. Garrett Green gifts a member. We got a single gifted train going right now. I was getting ready to go hang out with members in a member stream, but you guys just won't stop gifting. Constant Baby Shark in the background. Well, no, we don't want to get muted. You can't have a platform that isn't inspired by Mario. I think what Astro does well is it utilized the controller. I think it's better than what Galaxy did with the Wiimote. 700 is where the onesie all night. No. I get too hot. It's not fun. It just gets hot. Sing cutesy songs in Creature's ear while playing. And a 10 bomb comes in from MASH and takes us to 121. Unbelievable, MASH. Just monstrous this week. And a 5 bomb from Risic, Agent of Chaos, says 126. He says, you owe us more members now, Lono. Jiminy Christmas, you guys. Good night. Until Dawn on PC is going to require a PSN. That's the standard now. Put cat ears on? No, I'm not. I'm not going to put cat ears on. Creature's audio goes through the effects board. I don't have an effects board. Creature and Lono have to refer to each other as darling. No. 700, I get Halo back? No, we just hit 700. You can't claim that, Hilly. Yeah, you guys secured Foam Stars at 500, MASH, and then at 600, you secured me wearing a onesie. And now you hit 700. I don't know what to even give you. And another 5 comes in from Bill, taking us to 131. That tempts a 20 bomb dunker. That'd be an Agents of Chaos 20 bomb. Thank you so much, Bill. Be a waifu. Stop this toxic generosity. Yeah, we're never gonna get to members at this point. Like, I don't mind. We're at 2 hours and 14. We can go the distance. You know, we can keep going. We've had an incredible week. Incredible week. Oh, did you guys? The reason I started late today, I forgot to tell you guys. We got right into it. My power went out at 7:58. I'm in my kitchen. I've turned my coffee on, and I'm taking my daily like pills and vitamins, you know, because I'm in my 40s now, and that's a thing you do. And I hear boom outside somewhere, just boom, power goes out. And I'm like, oh no. Because I know what that means. That means a transformer somewhere has blown. I go outside, my neighbors are out, they're like, we just got back yesterday. Oh my gosh. I'm like, oh, that sucks. So I call in to report the power outage. No, it was perfectly clear day. I walk down the street, and as soon as you get 2 houses away from us, everybody has power, right? As soon as I get 2 houses away, I can see porch lights. I can see lights on the inside of the home. I'm like, okay, this is extremely isolated, right? So I'm like, well, I come downstairs, I get on my laptop, I plug into a battery backup so I can make my thumbnail, write up the description, and I wrote my monologue. That's what I was going to be doing anyway, so I'm like, let me just get the work done so when the power comes back on, I'll be able to hit the ground running. I said, usually there's no bad weather, and they got all the bad weather stuff cleaned up 2 days ago. Because on Wednesday, there were people that we knew that had been without power that got it back. So I'm like, okay, they should be able to get this back up fairly quickly. So I call in while I'm working on the monologue, and it says, estimated time of being fixed is 11 a.m. I'm like, okay, cool. They're on it, and they anticipate being able to fix this in a couple of hours. And I figured that's what it would be. I'm like, if it's a transformer, it's usually 1 to 2 hours if they can get to you, right? So I call back, because the power comes, it comes on, but then it goes right back off again. I'm like, oh, okay, they're working on it. We're gonna have power any minute now. So I call back in, and it says, our records indicate there was a power outage in your area related to wildlife in the equipment. It like was a pre-recorded thing, and so like the voice changed a little bit. It's like wildlife in the equipment. So some stupid squirrel, like, you know, was poking around, and boom, you know, he's gone. He's toast. You know, wherever he is no more. He's been reduced to atoms. And my daughter has a squirrel that she has nicknamed, and he comes up to our porch, and she'll like put food out for him and stuff. And he'll literally, if you go out to get the mail, he'll like drop down out of the tree and like pop up and like look at the porch. Like he's basically trained. So she was like, and she's nicknamed him Nibbler because of the way that he eats. And so I'm like, she's like, do you think it was Nibbler? I'm like, if it was, he got what he deserved. He's poking around in the electric stuff, you know, messing up my day. Yo, Rissick with a $5 super chat tip says it was Creature, so he doesn't have to play Foam Stars. Yeah, they were. Golly, they were making that joke. They were making that joke in the Discord. They were like, Creature got your power knocked out. You need to run out there with a Pokeball and catch that squirrel. Yeah, now his nickname is Sparky. That's right. Here, let me gift the 5 that I owe you guys. Did you guys hit another milestone of 125? Good old Kentucky. That's right. Good old Kentucky. Wildlife in the equipment. Like, I laughed out loud when I heard it. It just sounded so funny. I was going to ask if there were bits of squirrel everywhere outside. I couldn't see where it had happened, Zuby. I have figured you'd be able to see, like, smoke or, you know, just evidence of it happening. And I got past our house, and I just saw everybody had electricity. And I was like, well, the transformer behind my house, it looked fine, but you just never know. If it happens on the inside, you might not see evidence on the outside. So, there's the 5 that I owe you guys. That's hysterical. Yeah. So, funny start to the day. Glad they got it back on quickly, thanks to the, you know, the utility guys that got that up and running quickly. That's just, you're at their mercy, man. You are at their frickin' mercy. I was like, we've had such a big week. If they can't get this back on, that's going to be such a bummer, you know? Squirrel in the Matrix, messing with the power. That's right. This might be too much work, but for 1,000, maybe you learn how to forge a metal plaque with your logo on it. Get it? Cause Reforge. Oh, for if we can get 1,000 people to pay for their own memberships. Yeah, right now we have about 618 people paying for their own memberships, and we want to come up with a really, really great incentive for 1,000. If we can get that up to 1,000, you know, doing something and celebrating with the members. You know. I just can't think of anything. We've done Just Dance streams. We've shaved the beard. I've had a steak with ketchup. You know, there's only so many things I can do. Squirrel on a stick is a delicacy in Fallout or Skyrim. I forget which. Definitely not Skyrim. Kentucky Fried Squirrel. I've never had squirrel before. It's probably not very good. You know? It's probably like gamey. Not a lot. There's not a lot there. They're freaking rodents. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're rodents. Yeah, this Behemoth game does look really good. For a VR game, I think it looks really, really good. Is GTA 6 coming to PC after console, IGN asks. Rockstar parent company Take-Two has issued a vaguely worded statement that, if you read between the lines of corporate doublespeak, suggests that yes, it will eventually come to PC. Yeah, they'd be stupid not to eventually land on DLC. Black Ops 6 is officially confirmed to be a DLC for the Call of Duty HQ app. Steam listing it as DLC with the parent app being Call of Duty. I don't think Black Ops 6 is going to be DLC like Modern Warfare 3 was DLC. I think it's classified as that because of how it's couched in the HQ software. I think Black Ops 6 is going to be like an actual full traditional Call of Duty game. Modern Warfare 3 certainly deserved its criticisms for what they pulled. But I don't think Black Ops 6 is going to be like that. You're worried about Behemoth? Why, Butters? Love the stream. Keep up the great work. Thank you. All right, once all those 5-bomb members drop off the top of the chat, we'll go to members. The 10-bomb and the 20-bomb, they take too long to leave. So once all those 5 bombs drop, we'll get out of here. You guys can obviously keep extending if you want, but we're at 2 hours and 23 minutes. And I'm just kind of looking on Twitter to see if anything else has happened today. I don't think anything major has happened. So Monday, if you guys aren't a member or you don't hang with us the rest of the day, if you don't come tonight for the festivities on a Friday night member stream, Monday's going to be about Concord as well as Silent Hill 2. So that should be a good time. So if you're concerned about Concord, I've got an outline for that monologue already on the board. I've got a lot of things I want to talk about. We did not really talk about any of that today with Concord. I kind of stopped you guys because I was like, oof, you're going to cannibalize Monday's show if you guys don't chill. So we pivoted to Ragnarok, PSN logins. We talked about Silent Hill looking kind of rough. And then we talked about Astro Bot. So I feel like we did a pretty good job. I feel like we've done a very, very good job kind of covering all of the major points from the state of play. A Cyborg Samurai Saga set in post-apocalyptic is set to get its first English translation. Oh, is that a show? The art style looked really, really cool. I was like, oh, that'd make a great game. Yeah, this would make a great game. Yo, how do you say it? Yojimbot? I don't even know. It looks cool. I don't understand the insanity that Call of Duty's on console. Having all the different games connected with the Call of Duty headquarters is just confusing. Seeds put on a date for the PlayStation Showcase, September the 12th. I think it makes sense. It's 7 days before God of War Ragnarok on PC. He guessed that we were getting it on the 22nd of this month. So he's taking another stab at the guess, huh? The 12th is a Thursday. And Astro drops on the what? September the 6th. So Astro Bot drops on September the 6th, which is a Friday. I'll be honest with you, I could see them doing the showcase the day before that on the 5th. Right? Invest in a generator. I've really, really thought about it because it really hurts the business. Like, if I would have been able to stream today, like, I knew we were going to have a good turnout. I knew you guys were going to be excited and do members, and we were going to have a great conversation. And that directly affects my ability to make money if, like, the power goes out. So I need to invest in a generator that I could basically, that the office could run on. Because the internet was still working. That the internet, both my modems were running on the battery backups, and the internet was still up. 9 times out of 10, when the power goes out, my internet's still working. So I need to look into a generator. I know it would be expensive, but it's a worthy investment for the office. Walking Dead Saint and Sinners has some of the worst physics when it comes to melee combat and how things are held, but we will see. Aliens also looking rough. Yeah, the animations for the characters looked kind of goofy. I said that, Butters. I was like, well, they kind of looked bad. Do you need a PSN for Astro? If it comes to PC, you will. There's rumors floating around the showcase will happen on the 14th or the 12th. Well, the 14th makes no sense. That's a Saturday. PlayStation likes to do things on Wednesday and Thursday. Like a whole home. No, I would want a generator that would just be able to run the office. Like a whole home generator is going to be way more expensive. I'm thinking like something for the office. Yeah, a whole home generator is nice because it does keep your food safe, but that's a completely different purchase, I would imagine. How much are those battery walls? Yeah, I don't know. Not really. They're about the same, says Creature. Really? We don't live in an area where we lose power that often. It's just that when it happens, it's like, oh my gosh, I have no pivot. There's nothing I can do. I'm just at the mercy of it. I'm like, well, I can't do anything. It's not that expensive all around if you take into consideration food. You can get a generator that would run your computer and a fridge for like $600. Harbor Freight BB. Yeah, $600's not bad at all. I anticipated it to be a lot higher than that. I could probably get 2. I could probably get one for the fridge and then another for the office. Just how the house is set up. Whole home requires permits and installation. Yeah, I don't need that. One more for the PS5. This pony is going to get a generator for each PlayStation. You get a nice generator with a fuse box adapter, no permits required. Yeah, I just want one for the office, so when something like that happens, I'm like, oh, I'm good. You know. I also would want one that, like, if it's an extended power outage, I'm fine. I'm like, no big deal, you know. Texas had a freeze? Oh, here. Let me schedule the members thing. The member things dropped. Okay. I think last week we did something on Friday with you guys. I thought we did... It was like a huge week. I thought we did like a combination. I guess not. I thought we did a member stream. Yeah, we did. We just did like a thrown together we just basically did a writer's room. Okay. Lono's like, I want to get a generator for the office. And everybody's like, you know, you could get a generator that could power your entire neighborhood and half of Oklahoma. Captain Steve says, State of Play, Monster Hunter Wilds, excited for that. Astro Bot looks fab, but the rest, yawn. Nothing else got my interest. I usually go into shows like that, Steve, with only 14 games. I anticipate maybe 3 of the games really, really getting me pumped. And I just know that the rest aren't going to be for me. Like, Monhun's not for me. Dynasty Warriors is not for me. Infinity Nikki is not for me. I would even argue that Marvel Rivals and Concord aren't really for me, you know. But I thought Concord looked dope, even though it's incredibly risky to enter that genre. Ballad of Antera looked good. The VR games, I like VR games. Until Dawn, again, that's just a remake. Path of Exile 2, though. I thought Path of Exile 2 looked really good. And then, yeah, I think Astro stole the show. I think he stole the show. Okay. Set this for all channel members. All right, we'll go at 1 o'clock. That's in 6 minutes. You could get one for like $1,000 if you wanted to be able to power the house essentials through the fuse box. Generator better than battery? Actually asking. I'm not an expert, but I would speculate that a generator would be better than battery because you can go get more gas. If the power outage goes beyond your battery abilities, then you're done. You're cooked. The battery, all you're really doing is it's a stay of execution. It's like, well, I can stay on for X number of hours. Once you run out, that's it. Generator, I would imagine I can just go get more gas. If it's like, you know, hey, the generator can last this many hours, and then once it starts to get down close to E, I drive to the gas station and get more and come back. You just have to have it. I don't understand how, you know, as far as those generators work, like, I'm assuming you got to set it up to, like, you got to have an exhaust going out of the house. The battery just sits there and charges itself up off of the grid. The battery will set you back 5,000 plus. How do you charge it? You get a diesel Jenny, and you're laughing. I don't trust Lono to put gas into a small engine. Solar with battery is the best option, but it's way more expensive. You don't bring a generator inside. I swore there were people that had them set up inside and the exhaust goes outside. Or maybe that was a relative of ours had that set up out in their, it was like out in their barn, so I guess it wasn't indoors, and he had it set up to like exhaust out of the barn. So it was connected to his circuit box, and then it was sitting there next to it, and he had this thing set up to like basically exhaust out of the barn. Like it went up and out and up the side, and it was connected to the circuit box. So it wasn't in the home, but it was inside. Maybe that's why I'm confusing it. That's a big no-no. So where would you put it then if it was attached to the circuit then? The circuit breaker. So you set it outside the home and then it runs into the circuit box? I assume your box is in the garage? No. It's on the unfinished side of my basement. Natural gas power generator is your best bet. Just get natural gas gen. It hooks up to your electric box and it turns on automatically. And then that would just pull off of my gas bill, right? Because like if you have like a gas stove and the power goes out, you can still turn the stove top on, right? Okay. Yeah, well, that would be ideal then. Just run it off the gas line, so then I don't have to do anything. The rest of your basement's just waiting on the DLC. Uh-huh. Hang on. You run it alongside the main line either way, but not gas the whole home is pricey, but really good investment long term. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to look into something like that. Oop, I was supposed to set that. What was I doing? Oh, it's coming in and setting this. Members. Instead of being private. It's a perfect setup for you. How's that natural gas generator serve you during the zombie apocalypse? Yeah, we were out of power for like a week and ran the entire house off natural gas generator with no problems. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like what I want. Because then I don't have to do anything. It's like, yep, business as usual. You know, I'll have a larger gas bill that month, and that's all right. Okay. All right, let me see where we are on likes. Likes are... they're not terrible. Let's see if we can't get really, really close to 400. Oh, Detective Seeds is claiming... he tweeted this. PlayStation Showcase will be Thursday, September the 12th, 4 p.m. East, from what I've been told by 2 employees within the PlayStation organization. Well, then I'm really frustrated with them not including that in their state of play. If you already know the date and the time, why the frick didn't you say that at the end of the state of play? We look forward to showing you more and saying more at the showcase. Now, maybe, this might be the smart play. Maybe they do that with Keighley. Maybe they give some big announcement or like a Tsushima 2 teaser to Keighley and say, we can't wait to show you more at the PlayStation Showcase September the 12th, 4 p.m. Eastern. Maybe that's a bigger platform and bigger viewership. That's a larger audience than just a state of play. I'll give them room for that. If we get through Summer Game Fest and they don't say a word about their showcase in September, I think that's a mistake. Just don't go through Home Depot. Deal directly with a contractor. It requires permits and installation. You're looking upwards of $5,000, but it's a good investment. Oh, the thing you guys are describing is going to require all that? Okay. Seeds responded to several and said they should have done that. Well, they might do it during Summer Game Fest then. Because it can change. I mean, sure, they don't have to give the date. I'm saying if you have a date and time locked in, then you could have said, hey, we can't wait to show you more. We'll see you at our showcase later this year. They don't have to give the date and time. If they currently know the date and time, then you know you're doing one. If he's spoken to 2 different people that have confirmed that date and time, then what the heck are we doing here? Again, they might have given it to Keeley, but let's get out of here. Let's go to members. If you're not currently a member and you're not currently paying for your own member, we're trying to get that number up. We've had an incredible we've had an incredible week of gifted members, and that's fantastic. But that's like a handful of people being super generous to you and the channel. We need folks to start picking up their own membership. You can upgrade to Member Plus by $1. You can pick up your own membership. We're currently at about 620 people paying for their own membership. We'd like that to be at 1,000, and we'll do some crazy kickoff celebration if that happens. It helps me. It helps the channel. It helps us grow. So consider doing that. I'm going to put a link in chat. We're going to go to a members, basically a writer's room, and it's not really going to be a writer's room, but it's how we end the day. It's how we end the day. And then after writer's room, we'll do a VIP. I've been letting Member Pluses come to VIP because they are paying for their own membership and they have upgraded. Make sure you guys smash like on our way out of here. Hey, thanks so much for being a member. And because you're a member, you get access to this stream, but you're also going to get access to tonight. It's Friday the 31st, and tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, I'll be streaming with my wife, having some drinks and laughs. And then at the end of that stream, we will be playing Foam Stars with my producer. It'll be hilarious. You guys unlocked it. You unlocked so many things. What a huge week. Over 700 new members. And on top of that, all the members that I gifted. Just unbelievable. If you're a new member, and you can pay for your own membership. We are trying to get people paying for their own membership to increase. We have about 600 people doing it. So consider picking up your own membership. It makes room for others. It supports me directly. It helps the channel grow. If you can't afford your own membership, just watch and lurk and listen and like as much as you can. That's how you get those gifteds from me as well as the other mega generous people. I am going to end the stream and redirect people over. We talked about the state of play, the good and the bad.